400
from Kansas Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
This slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone. Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second. The throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays getting set for Game 2 in Anaheim, California, taking on the Los Angeles Angels after a heartbreaking 8-3 loss in the series opener last night. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer tonight. Tom Young, our technical director. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Bridgewater and Liverpool, Nova Scotia. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Very entertaining pitching matchup coming up tonight. Jose Berrios goes for the Blue Jays. He's been exceptional since the struggles on opening day. On the other side, the 3-year Toronto Blue Jays starter Yusei Kikuchi faces the Blue Jays in his new digs after signing a 3-year contract with the Los Angeles Angels. We'll have Kikuchi's first pitch, lineup, standings, and more on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app, and of course on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timbermark can lend a hand to build.
And the Angels tonight. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. And Chris, this is one that I think a lot of people had circled, seeing Kikuchi pitch against Toronto.
Well, I know that you've had it circled. You've mentioned a couple of times in the last couple of days that you're pretty excited for this ball game, but I've always loved watching Yusei Kikuchi. A little bit of ups and downs in his career with the Toronto Blue Jays, really his career in general, but he's got such elite stuff, especially from the left side. You just don't see that very often. When he's at his best, he's up to 97, 98 with that fastball. But the Blue Jays know that he's pretty erratic with that fastball, with that command. He's walked 9 guys in his last 3 starts. So the Blue Jays have to be ready for that, and then they have to be ready for the mistake over the middle.
We are just getting ready for first pitch. Before we get there, let's bring in one of the voices of today's broadcast. Here's our host and producer, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back inside Baseball Control, everyone. Show Ali with you at our downtown Toronto studios as we await first pitch at Angel Stadium in California. The Blue Jays taking on the Angels for the second of 3 games. We will get to the starting lineups in a sec for both teams, but first, let's check out the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. So despite the somewhat late hour, the rest of the division have not all wrapped up their games. So let's check out the standings before all the teams finish. Entering play today, the Yankees 20-16, the Red Sox 18-19, the Rays and Blue Jays are 16-19, the Orioles are 13-21. Now, the Red Sox actually literally just finished their game. They just beat the Rangers 6-4. So they're actually now 19-19. Other scores for the games not quite finished. I think I just saw the final out for the Rays. So the Rays, I suppose, are now 16-20. They lose to the Phillies 7-0. Things did not go well for Tampa tonight. The Yankees and Padres are tied 3-3. Dylan Cease and Max Fried both spitting some gems. Dylan Cease had a no-hitter that got broken up late in that game. But 3-3, the Yankees and Padres are tied in New York. And the Baltimore Orioles are currently trailing the Minnesota Twins, bottom 7, runner on with no out, 3-2 at Target Field. So that's where we're standing right now. Before we get you back over to Ben and Chris, though, who are standing by for the call of today's game, let's get you to the starting lineups. Here's how John Schneider lines things up this evening in California. Bo Bichette is batting leadoff. He is at shortstop. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is batting second at first base. Anthony Santander, he is DHing tonight. He is batting third. George Springer is batting cleanup. He is in right field. Alejandro Kirk is batting fifth. He is catching. Ernie Clement is batting sixth. He is at third base. Andres Jimenez is batting seventh at second base. Miles Straw is batting eighth. He is in center field. And recently called up just today, new addition to the roster, Jonathan Clase is batting ninth, and he is in left field. Jose Berrios will pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, we are getting close to first pitch at Angels Stadium. You heard the Let's Play Ball. So let's get you over to the guys with the call of the game. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Blue Jays getting ready to bat against left-hander Yusei Kikuchi, 33-year-old from Japan, 6 foot tall, 210 pounds, looking for his first win in an Angels uniform. He's 0-4 to start his year with a 4.21 earned run average in 7 starts. If you don't remember from last year, Kikuchi's got a very high velocity fastball, a slider, a changeup, a curveball, and they say he's starting to mix in a sweeper and a sinker a little bit this season as well. We'll have to wait and see, but obviously Kikuchi with a lot of familiarity with this lineup and vice versa.
Well, I think none of that matters. The thing that he has to do is locate that fastball. If he's locating the fastball, as we've seen over the last 2.5 years, if he's locating that fastball, he is unhittable. If he's not locating that fastball, he's very hittable. That's the up and down nature of Yusei Kikuchi. Really fun to watch, though.
It does feel like, and this is not to excuse or make any excuses in general for anyone hitting, it feels like Kikuchi is in charge a lot of how good his outings are, more so even than the average starting pitcher, because if he locates, he will dominate with that 95 plus.
Right.
Starting the long list of former teammates to hit against him today, Bo Bichette steps into the righty box. Blue Jays in their royal blue jerseys, gray pants. The Angels in their off-white City Connects. First pitch is line foul by Bichette as he jumped on a fastball and hit it to the right side out of play. 0-1. Time of the first pitch today, 9:39 Eastern, 6:39 local. Sunnier day in Anaheim than it was yesterday. 0-1. Swing and a foul off to the right again, 0-2. And no swing. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Edwin Moscoso, the home plate ump tonight. Tom Hanahan at first, Chris Guccione at second, and David Rackley at third. 1 out, base is empty, the 2-1. Swing and a line drive, base hit down in left field. Just like he started the day off yesterday, a rocket single for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the first.
Well, Vlad is really seeing the ball well right now. That was just a hanging slider right down the middle. Pitches, those fastballs over the middle of the plate. But right now, I like where he's at, just squaring those things up and hitting good line drives.
So Guerrero on first after the line drive single. Here's Anthony Santander. Kikuchi's pitch. Outside, ball 1.
A lot of pitches outside high right now, kind of dragging that arm. We saw that a lot over the last couple of years, especially in the first inning. He tends to be a pretty erratic in that first inning.
The 1-0. Called strike. Yusei Kikuchi in 2.5 seasons, 21-22 was his record with the Blue Jays. An ERA near 4.5 in 86 games, 74 starts over nearly 400 innings. Step and throw over to first. Guerrero back standing up, chuckling at his old teammate, Yusei Kikuchi. The 1-1. Swing and a line drive left field, hit right at Taylor Ward, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. Looked like Ward was standing there to make the catch. He never moved, and it fell in front of him. So Guerrero up to second, and it's back-to-back singles for the Blue Jays.
Well, I think Taylor Ward actually thought that Anthony Santander hit that ball harder than he did. I think he got it off the end of the bat. It was a four-seam fastball, maybe a tad outside. But Anthony Santander with the big hit, I'm sure he'll take that regardless.
So 2 on and 1 out. Top of the first, no score. And the boos raining down on the former division rival, George Springer. Homered in the first yesterday, a 2-run shot. Kikuchi's pitch. Down and in with the slider. Travis d'Arnaud sprawling to his left to bring it in. Ball 1. George Springer back in the field today. He's DH'd a fair amount over the last week or two. He'll play right here at Angel Stadium. 1-0. Called strike. Backdoor slider freezes Springer. Not just the home run, but also a single yesterday for George Springer. 2 for 4 on the day. He's batting .316 on the year. 1-1 pitch. Clips the top of the zone with a changeup. First changeup he's thrown today. Not sure that's where he wanted it, but he gets the strike to get ahead 1-2.
No, Travis d'Arnaud had that target a little bit lower in the strike zone. Obviously, he'll take that for a strike, but not where you want to throw a changeup.
1-2 pitch. Elevated fastball hit back foul.
Still got that really good velocity, 96 miles an hour. He's only averaging 94.4 with that fastball this year, but like you said, Ben, he's got a little bit of an extra gear today against the Blue Jays.
They'll ask for a new baseball, maybe buy a little time as well. 15 pitches into this inning, 1 out. Guerrero on second, Santander on first. Kikuchi's 1-2. Bounced foul to the left. Middle with the slider. Springer was a little out in front of it, but he rolls over it to stay alive.
I think they're trying to go back foot there. You can see Travis d'Arnaud set up down and in. That's the pitch that you really have to hammer. George Springer just missed it.
The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball right to third. Picked up Moncada. Steps on third. Throw to first. In time. An adjustment made as Shotwell at first jumped up to catch it and landed on the bag to make it a 5-3 inning-ending double play. No runs on 2 hits. 1 left for the Blue Jays. Jose Berrios sat on the mound in the bottom of the first in a scoreless game. Next, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Bread 365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer charges a ball to left field. It's in the seats, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to the first inning, brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 0-0, Blue Jays and Angels. Jose Berrios drawing on the back of the mound as he gets set for start number 8 this year. 1-1 with a 3.98 earned run average. Puerto Rican right-hander takes on the shortstop. Zach Neto stands in the righty box, waving the bat around his head. Berrios kicks and deals. Sinker outside, ball 1. Neto, the shortstop, then first baseman Nolan Shonowell and left fielder Taylor Ward due up this inning for the Los Angeles Angels. The 1-0. Outside and low with a changeup, 2 balls, no strikes.
And a lot like Yusei Kikuchi, his success hinges on the location of that sinker. Obviously, Yusei Kikuchi has the 4-seamer. Jose Berrios has the sinker, but it's really important for him to locate that fastball.
2-0. Just outside, 3 balls, no strikes.
Berrios didn't like that call, kind of tilting his head, but that was just a little bit outside.
Neto 1 for 3 yesterday. 3-0. Fastball at the top of the zone. Went to the 4-seamer to get a called strike. 3-1. Sinker, slurve, change, 4-seamer, cutter for the right-hander Jose Berrios. It's 2-1. Pardon me, a 3-1, and it's outside. Ball 4. Leadoff walk for Zach Neto. Same thing he did in that 8th inning yesterday to set up the 6-run rally by the Angels, who went on to win 8-3.
And you have to keep an eye on Neto over there. He has 7 stolen bases this season. I'm sure Jose Berrios and Alejandro Kirk know that.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Runner on first, no outs in the pitch. Shonowell lines it center field, sinking and down in the gap in right center. Cut off on a hop by Straw. Neto hits the bag, turns around second to third, and he'll get in there without a throw. It's runners on the corners for the Angels. Nobody out.
Well, Nolan Shonowell coming to the plate knows that Jose Berrios wants to throw a strike in this situation. He doesn't want to start 1-0, so he's ready for that pitch, that fastball, that sinking fastball right down the middle, and he hammers that thing out into right center. Miles Straw does a good job cutting it off and keeping Shonowell at first base, but now the Angels have first and third and nobody out in this inning.
Blue Jays are going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat to keep this game scoreless in the first. They're going to play the middle of the infield back. Ernie Clement maybe a hair in at third. Pitch to Taylor Ward. Slurve, top of the zone strike, 0-1. What a big day it was for Taylor Ward yesterday. Came up with 2 hits and a walk. Hit a 2-run homer in the first. Batting in the 180s, it was his 7th homer of the year. 0-1. Check swing, foul tipped it actually on that slurve, so he probably went around anyway. 0-2.
A strikeout here would be big, so if you're Jose Berrios, you're trying to expand the zone, throw something below, maybe another slurve, bounce that thing.
0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Went right back to the slurve, off the plate, down and away, and it is that big strikeout for a first out.
That was his best one of the night. Looked like a fastball, looked like a strike, a very hittable pitch, and then just dove below that strike zone. Taylor Ward swinging over the top of it.
With 1 out now, you can start to dream about a ground ball similar to what Yusei Kikuchi got in the first when the Blue Jays had first and second 1 out, and Kikuchi got Springer to ground sharply into a double play. First and third for the Angels. Shonowell on first, Neto on third. Right-handed hitting Jorge Soler up to the plate. Open stance, rests his black bat on his right shoulder. The pitch. Sinker for a strike, 0-1.
94 miles an hour with that sinker. Pretty good velo.
Probably his best sinker of the day right after his best slurve of the day. The 0-1. Slurve popped up foul. First base side, Guerrero racing back on the side, warning track, and that one just gets into the first row of seats. Vladdy leaning on the railing, thinking about leaning over, but that one a little bit too deep. 0-2.
Yeah, that would have been a tough play. Even if he got there, he was running almost straight back, trying to find that thing while he was running. A little bit wobbly all over the place. All smiles over there.
And caught by an Angels fan. They're not going to get out of the way for Vladdy with a ball in the crowd. They can do whatever they want. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wicked changeup broke in on the hands of Soler. Back-to-back punch-outs for Jose Berrios.
That had really good downward movement to it. Almost looked like a split finger. Jorge Soler nowhere near that pitch. What a changeup from Jose Berrios.
He threw that relatively hard, too. That was 86 miles an hour on the change, although that is around his average. So 2 down now, still first and third for the Angels. Logan O'Hoppe is up, maybe the best hitter on the team. 294, 9 homers. The pitch. Slurve for a strike, 0-1.
And I would say because O'Hoppe is such a good hitter, you should be a little careful. You don't want to give something to him over the heart of the plate.
Berrios sets at the belt. And the 0-1. Pitch down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, and I think Jose Berrios is doing exactly that. Slider at the bottom of the strike zone for strike 1, and then that slider outside there. That was a pretty good pitch.
Berrios checks on third, now looking to the plate, the 1-1. Swing and a miss through that changeup again that he's really got working here in the first. It's 1-2.
If you're going to throw that changeup again, you have to get it down. That one caught just a little bit too much of the plate. Luckily, O'Hoppe was way out in front of it.
No score, bottom of the first, 2 outs. The 1-2. Runner takes off from second. Throw down from Kirk, and they got Shawnuel trying to steal second to end the inning. Good work by Berrios after the walk and a hit, and Alejandro Kirk contributing again, catching Shawnuel trying to steal second from first to end the inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left, and we go to the second in a scoreless game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Music legends honor their hero and friend.
Without Jimmy Buffett, there is no Kenny Chesney. Jimmy's dreams validated my journey and my dreams.
Made it less hypothetical.
The Coral Reefer Band's Mac McAnally and Kenny Chesney share stories and music. Premieres Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Radio Margaritaville, Channel 24, and at home with the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
A Sportsnet Radio Network.
Angels lefty Yusei Kikuchi back on the mound, and his pitch to Alejandro Kirk to start the second is called a strike. 0-1. Thanks for tuning in tonight alongside Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. No score, Blue Jays and Angels. Kikuchi kicks and deals. And Kirk fouls it straight back. 0-2.
How about that throw from Alejandro Kirk to end the inning? That might be his best throw of the season. A perfect throw. Lots of velo on it.
Shawnuel's not a big base stealer. I wonder if they thought the Blue Jays wouldn't throw down with 2 outs and 2 strikes because Kirk had him by a mile. The pitch. Poked away, foul. For Kirk, that's his 7th runner caught stealing. 24 have attempted on him, so that's 29%, a little bit above that. In his good throwing year last year, he threw out 31% of base runners. 0-2. Downstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. You might see a bit of a drop-off, though, in that percentage because as baseball learns a little bit more about Alejandro Kirk's arm, only the best guys are going to start taking shots. 1-2 is hit well. Right center field. Racing back, Kyron Paris makes the catch on the run just in front of the track. 1 out.
I thought that ball had a chance to get down, but Paris so quick out there in center field, making it look easy in the gap close to that wall in right center. But another good swing from Alejandro Kirk. He's seeing the ball very well right now. Almost a double.
Almost, but the speed of Paris getting there. So with one out, here comes Ernie Clement. Kikuchi's pitch. Called strike. This second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 0-1 pitch. Poked away foul. It was a changeup down and away that Clement lobbed over top of the netting into the seats. 0-2. Starting for the second day in a row is Ernie Clement. Blue Jays facing a left-handed starter for the second day in a row. The 0-2. Poked out to right field and sinking in right center, but it's cut off and caught by the right fielder Jorge Soler for the second out.
Another good changeup. A couple of good changeups in that at bat. Actually pretty impressed with how good his feel is for that changeup right now. A lot like Jose Berrios, he's really relying on that changeup early in this ball game.
Leaning into the changeup more, into the slider more this year, less curveballs. It's been relegated to a fourth pitch. His pitch to Andres Jimenez, swing and a miss, strike one. Tough left-on-left matchup here for Jimenez. The only left-on-left matchup that Kikuchi should get in this start. The 0-1. Swing and a line drive. Caught at second overhead by Rengifo. And that will do it for the inning. Kikuchi retires the Blue Jays in order. Middle of the second, no score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project Know-How that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet, after a dramatic finish to Game 1.
Jacob Slavin's first playoff overtime goal.
The Hurricanes and Capitals go head-to-head for Game 2. Then, Hockey Central sets the stage. Out west, the Oilers took Game 1 in Vegas. Will the Golden Knights bounce back?
2 goals in a minute and 15 seconds. The first one by Zach Hyman, and later it's Connor Brown. The best days of this rivalry are still ahead.
The Stanley Cup playoffs. Watch on Sportsnet or stream on Sportsnet Plus. A team's defense is as precious as gold.
Oh, what a catch! A great catch by Dalton Varsho.
Brilliant displays of athleticism, pure talent, instinct, and ability.
And it's caught.
An invaluable defensive presence. He is simply
the best outfielder in baseball.
On Wednesday, May 14th, celebrate this golden honor with the Dalton Varsho Gold Glove bobblehead. Available for the first 15,000 fans in attendance. Your golden chance for tickets awaits at BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For a participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom 2 at the Big A. Blue Jays in Anaheim taking on the Angels. No score between Toronto and Los Angeles as Jose Berrios gets set to face Logan O'Hoppe again. Right on right, Berrios looks in and deals. Inside, ball 1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Logan O'Hoppe was at the plate to end the bottom of the first because Nolan Shonowell was caught stealing by Alejandro Kirk. 1-0. Swing and a miss.
I guess that's the consolation if you're going to get thrown out to end the inning. Logan O'Hoppe, one of your best hitters, gets a fresh count.
It is tough, though. He's probably your best hitter. You had 2 runners on, 1-1. Called a strike 1 and 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone there if I was Nolan Shonowell. But like you said, maybe the Angels were taking a chance, thinking that Alejandro Kirk wouldn't throw through in that situation. Who knows?
Secret with Alejandro Kirk, he always throws through. 1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2-2.
And Ron Washington should know that.
Right. I can't think of a time this year that there was, relatively early in the year, but that there was a first and third steal and Kirk didn't try to throw because he's got a good shot at getting guys out. 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. A chopper to third. Hits softly. Clement fields it and bounces the throw over to first in time to get the out. Good dig on the forehand side by Guerrero. That pitch was very narrowly foul. And are they saying it's foul now? They might be. An out call was made at first by Tom Hanahan. And it looks like Ernie Clement fielded it fair, but I believe that they are calling this a foul ball.
I need to see a slower motion replay here, but it looks like it might be on the line, maybe a little bit foul. We didn't get a very good angle.
They did call it a foul ball.
Yeah. I'm sure they have a better angle than we do, but that's a tough break. That's a great play all the way around, especially at first base for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. What a pick.
So still a 2-2 count, bases empty, no outs. Pitch to O'Hoppe. Check swing, slurve down and away, full count. Usually the catcher, Logan O'Hoppe, is DHing today. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on a slurve. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Jose Berrios.
He's got a really good feel for his off-speed stuff today. Not a great feel for that sinker yet, but the changeup's been really good. And then that slurve right there. What a pitch. Big 3-2 strike against Logan O'Hoppe.
It almost looks to me early on like his slurve is a little more north-south.
Yeah, that one was a really, really effective one, especially in that count.
Pitch now to Yoan Moncada. Switch hitter batting left, takes a strike, 0-1. Moncada, the former prized prospect with Boston, playing with the Angels for his first year. Long career with the White Sox, 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Throw that thing again. That was a great changeup.
.25 pitches into the start. Berrios working with the bases empty, 1 out, and the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He did throw that thing again, even lower, and got him to swing at the changeup to strike out a 4th in a row.
Well, the previous changeup looked like a strike and then kind of dove maybe a little bit below the strike zone. That one started at the bottom of the strike zone and dove way down, almost in the dirt. What a good sequence from those two guys.
This has been a very aggressive Angels team this year. If you can get out in front of them in the count, you can do stuff like that. Berrios now to Travis d'Arnaud. Catcher takes a pitch outside, ball 1. First year for d'Arnaud in an Angels uniform, former Blue Jays prospect. Over on a 2-year, $12 million deal after being let go by the Braves. 1-0. Outside, 2-0. Braves had a player option for d'Arnaud if they wanted it, decided not to pick it up. After he had 15 home runs last year, had a .738 OPS as a part-time catcher. 2-0. Swing and a miss. 2-0 slurve out of the zone, and he gets d'Arnaud to fish. 2-1.
d'Arnaud looking dead red there. It was almost like he was swinging no matter what. That front shoulder went flying. That slurve turned left.
2-1. Swing and a miss. Threw a slurve in the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And like you said, it has pretty good vertical action right now. Not as east to west as it usually is.
Berrios looking into Kirk, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He punches out this side to send the Blue Jays back to the bats. 3rd inning coming up next. No score, Blue Jays and Angels. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday, so many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Ernie Clement with the RBI single. 1-0 Toronto.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
In sunny California, the Blue Jays and Angels get set for the third inning at Angels Stadium. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Yusei Kikuchi back on the hill after a 1-2-3 second. He'll take on 8-9-1 in the Blue Jay order, starting with the right-handed hitting center fielder Miles Straw.
And this is something you don't see very often. 27 pitches for Yusei Kikuchi, 21 strikes.
First pitch to Straw in the zone, right on the edge, strike one.
He is just filling up that strike zone so far tonight.
Typically a very good sign for most pitchers, especially Yusei Kikuchi. 0-1. Swing and a miss at 96, 0-2. Maybe even more so than a guy like Jose Berrios. Kikuchi doesn't have to be pinpoint. He's just got to be around the zone because he's got such big stuff. 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he doesn't have to throw great pitches every single time. He can just throw good pitches. Like you said, his stuff is so good that it doesn't have to be perfect, just in that strike zone, and he's probably going to be okay.
Is 1-2. Poked away foul. 4 straight fastballs. The last one a little off the plate outside, and Straw hit it away to the right. Miles Straw batting .273 on the year. OPS just under 700. Right-handed hitter, closed off stance. And the 1-2. Again, spoiled foul to the right. That time a slider.
Pretty good slider at the bottom of the strike zone. I think they were trying to come down and in, but still not a terrible location from Kikuchi.
8th start for Yusei Kikuchi, looking for his first win of the year. The pitch. Again poked foul, right side and into the seats.
Miles Straw doing a good job just staying alive. That was a 4-seam fastball off the plate outside. Straw doing a good job just sticking the bat out. It looked like he was trying to just foul that thing off.
When it has all been in the same spot, he can maybe lock in on the outer half of the plate because it's just been away from Kikuchi. Lefty steps on the hill, tucks the ball into his glove. Belt high. The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball over the mound, up the middle into center field. A base hit. Changeup was away. Straw got around it, reaching his arms out to roll it up the middle for a leadoff single.
I think you were right. Every single pitch in that at-bat was away. So if you can kind of say, well, there's no way he's going to throw me in here, I'm just going to look away regardless of the pitch, it makes hitting infinitely easier, and Miles Straw comes up with a nice hit there.
So Straw on first, and the first at-bat of the day for Jonathan Clase, who was called up today by the Blue Jays. Corresponding move, Rodin went to Buffalo. The pitch. Clase shows bunt and bunts it back foul into the screen. 0-1. It's a late show by the switch hitter batting right. That was bunt for a base hit rather than a sacrifice attempt.
Well, Clase has a ton of speed. We've seen that. He has 15 stolen bases this season in AAA. Just caught stealing twice.
Batting .315 at AAA. Not a ton of power, so .790 OPS. Swing and a foul off, 0-2.
No homers, and just 1 RBI. That's a huge thing for me when I was looking that up.
The 1 RBI, I think, is more about what's going on around him.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that's his fault. I'm just saying you can almost accidentally get 1 RBI.
Batting .315. Step and throw to first, Straw back with a dot. Clase, 22 years old, 5'10", 150 pounds. Built a little bit like a fire hydrant. plays all around the outfield and played 26 games in the majors last year, 19 with Seattle, and then 7 with the Blue Jays. 7 games last year that went very well for him. 0-2. Fouled off to the right again. In those 7 games with the Blue Jays, right near the end of the year, he went 7 for 20, batting .350, doubled, and hit his first major league home run at Rogers Center. Played 1 game this year in the doubleheader. He was the 27th man. Now the 0-2. Called a ball. That certainly had the zone, and that is a tough break for Kikuchi.
That's a strike. You don't see Yusei really voice his opinion very often, but he's asking Edwin Moncoso, hey, where's that pitch?
That easily had the zone. Lefty with a look at first in the pitch, and it's fouled back.
I think having guys like Clase on any roster is very important. A guy that can steal a base, a guy that can put a bunt down, kind of that electric type of player. I mean, I like him in my starting 9. I don't know where he fits currently, but I do like him.
1-2. Fouled off the glove of O'Hoppe, or pardon me, of d'Arnaud. Clase still staying up there. And
I think that if you can put together a .315 type of average season in AAA, that tells me that you're a pretty solid hitter. A lot like Nathan Lucas, .335, .366. It's really hard to hit in AAA, just like it's hard to hit in the big leagues.
41st pitch of the day for Kikuchi is lined and caught at third by Moncada. Clase reached down and put a good charge into that curveball below the knees, but he hit it to the wrong spot.
That was a really good at-bat from Clase. Pretty nice swing there. Like you said, went down and got that pitch, that tough pitch down and in from Yusei Kikuchi. Tough result there for Clase, though.
So 1 out and the top of the order coming back up. With Straw on first, here's Bo Bichette. Kikuchi's already thrown 14 in the inning. He offers and misses well outside. Ball 1. Bichette 0 for 6 so far in the series. He struck out to start his day in the first. The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball center field. Going back, Paris backpedaling onto the warning track to make the catch. Tagging from first is Straw. He'll try to advance to second, and he dives in head first. So Bo Bichette flies out, but heads up base running by Straw puts him in scoring position for Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Well, Miles Straw noticed that Paris was going back against that wall, and he knew that if he got back to first base and tagged, Paris wouldn't have a chance to throw him out. Really nice piece of base running there.
So Straw, a speedy base runner who almost certainly scores on a single to the outfield, is on second, and because of that, the Blue Jays get another runner on. Ron Washington, 2 days in a row, is going to intentionally walk Vlad Guerrero Jr. and bring up Anthony Santander with runners on first and second.
I like that move from Ron Washington. Why risk it, especially with the best hitter in that lineup up, and now you get to face Anthony Santander, who's still, I mean, he's not hot, but he's slowly looking a little better. Let's see if he can come through with a big hit here.
On base in 9 straight. Santander made it 10 straight, actually, with his hit in the first, and he homered yesterday. Kikuchi's pitch. Outside, ball 1. Santander also has quite good numbers against Yusei Kikuchi. After the single in the first, he's now 6 for 20, a .300 average with a homer and 5 walks against the lefty. A look at second, the 1-0. Called strike, looked a bit outside. It's 1-1.
But just to be clear, I would much rather face Anthony Santander than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
100%.
right now.
The 1-1. Called strike, 1-2.
A lot of players see that as disrespectful in nature. I've never seen it as a disrespectful move. It's just a smarter move. Hey, right. I don't think you're going to strike out. I don't think you're a terrible player. I just would rather face you than face him.
1-2 in the dirt. Good block by d'Arnaud. Well, especially when it's in situations where bases are open, you can set up forces.
Right.
And you don't want to get beat by a team's best hitter. Big lead at first from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Straw getting off second base with Santander at the plate. No score, top of the third. The 2-2 is poked away, foul. This third inning brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Bridgewater and Liverpool, Nova Scotia. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Kikuchi looking back at Straw, and it's 2-2. Popped up, foul, back out of play behind home plate. Still 2-2. "22 pitches in the inning for Yusei Kikuchi. He's up to 49 overall with 2 outs in the top of the third. He offers home. And Santander fouls off another one. 97 right at the top of the zone. One of Kikuchi's best pitches of the day, but Santander got a piece of it.
Yeah, that was actually a dangerous pitch. Santander was all over it. It was just elevated a little bit and missed the barrel. Luckily for Yusei Kikuchi.
Lefty taking deep breaths on the hill. Now comes set. A 2-2 again. Down and in, ball 3. Back foot slider, strong take from the right side for the switch hitter Santander.
Santander is slowly starting to look a little bit more comfortable in that batter's box. Like I said, he's not hot yet, but he looks like he's going to get there eventually, maybe on this road trip. Hopefully on this road trip.
Jays hope right now. First and second, 2 outs, no score, top of the third. Straw will be off from second and Guerrero from first on the pitch. And an inside move by Kikuchi, just seeing if Straw would take off early. Fake to throw over to second, and Straw got back.
We've seen that exact move dozens of times over the last couple of years.
Now the 3-2. Swing and a spoiled foul ball over to the right. Slider bottom of the zone. Clipped it off to the right side. And another pitch coming to Santander. The next one will be the 10th of his plate appearance.
52 pitches in the ball game with 2 outs in the third inning.
And not terrible, but he was on 27 after 2. 3-2 pitch again. Swing and a fly ball out to center field. Jogging toward right center, Kyron Paris brings it in to end the inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, 2 left for the Blue Jays. Still no score, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hear every game of the NBA playoffs on SiriusXM.
He's going to fire up a 3 for the win!
Don't miss a second of the action all the way through the NBA Finals.
Tatum has to force a 3 at the buzzer, and he got it!
And throughout the playoffs, get closer to the storylines that matter on NBA Radio, Channel 86.
There are certain guys that you need to be a part of your roster to win NBA championships.
Listen to home and away broadcasts of every NBA playoff game on your radio and the SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Work.
Bottom three, Blue Jays at Angels Stadium, and no score between the Blue Jays and the Angels so far. Jose Berrios back on the hill for Toronto. He has struck out the last 5 hitters he's faced going back to the first. His pitch to Luis Rengifo. Called strike. Not only has Berrios struck out 5 in a row, all of them were swinging, and all of them either on the slurve or the change. Is 0-1. Hit on the ground, foul right side. Berrios was racing over to cover, but it's wide of the first base bag, 0-2.
I said that the key to success for Jose Berrios before the ball game was that sinker. He is avoiding the sinker at all costs right now, throwing really good changeups and really good slurves.
0-2. Hit foul off of the front ankle by Rengifo. Rolls all the way back out to the mound. This is not the typical playbook for a sinker-heavy pitcher in Jose Berrios, but they're preparing for you, maybe for a couple days in advance. Sometimes you got to switch it up. 0-2. Slurve in the dirt, ball 1.
But also when your off-speed pitches are as good as his have been early in this ball game, I think you just change it up. And you say, well, tonight's a changeup night or tonight's a slurve night. I'll mix in the fastball or the sinker whenever I can, but those other couple of pitches have been really good.
Is 1-2. Fastball called strike 3. Pulled it out at the perfect time. Started it at the front hip of Rengifo. It broke back over the plate, and that's a 6th strikeout in a row.
That was gross. Rengifo didn't like that call, but that was definitely a strike. Started at the front hip and then just came right back over the black. What a pitch. 92 miles an hour. Doesn't have to be hard when you locate that sinker. That one was located perfectly.
Now he offers to Kyron Paris, and a swing and a miss, strike 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When home improvement projects are throwing you a curveball, talk to the folks at Timbermart before you begin your next job. They've got the material and know how to make sure you have all your bases covered. Timbermart, Canada's building center. Berrios with a breath in the pitch. Lifted to right field. George Springer tracking back a little bit, stops, and makes the catch to his left. 2 outs. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue in this Timbermart broadcast booth. Show Ali, our host and producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Finally, Jose Berrios says, I'll let the defense get an out for stops a string of 6 strikeouts in a row. Berrios now once through the order, faced 1 above the minimum. He'll take on Zach Neto for a second time today. Walked Neto on 5 pitches in the first. Berrios with the pitch. And it's inside, and it clipped Neto just on the thigh. Might have even only got the jersey, but it clearly got him, so Neto's aboard with 2 outs.
That was a weird one. It looked like he was trying to place that sinker. It looked like he pushed it a little bit, and then it ran inside and barely got Neto, but you could see Jose Berrios shaking his head, knows he didn't get on top of that pitch, and unfortunately for him, lets Neto on base.
2 down, and the offering to Nolan Shawnuel is a changeup that just misses outside, ball 1. Berrios even asking Edwin Moscoso on the pitch. He pointed to his right to say outside, and Moscoso nodded. Shawnuel with the lone hit today for the Angels, a single to center in the first. Step off, throw over to first base. Close play, but Neto got back in with a head-first dive. Shawnuel, 11th overall pick in 2023 out of Florida Atlantic University. 1-0. Outside 2-0. A lot of guys drafted in the first round put up big numbers in college. Shawnuel in his final year with the FAU Owls hit .447 with 19 homers in 59 games. .2-0. Swing and a miss. Shawnuel loses his helmet on the hack. It's 2-1.
I don't care what conference you're in. When you throw up numbers like that, that's really impressive.
He also was Conference USA Player of the Year, obviously, and he set the conference on-base percentage record in a single season. What do you think he on-based? He had 447.
610.
615, right on. The 2-1. Outside 3-1.
And Conference USA isn't the best conference. It's not a Power 5 or I think that's what they call it, right? The Power 5.
Yeah, one of the
Power
5
4
is
now,
gone,
maybe.
but just a power conference, I guess.
But Conference USA is still a very good conference.
Sure. I believe Coastal Carolina's in Conference USA. 3-1 pitch. Outside ball 4, and Shotwell takes a walk. A near miss off the plate outside again for Berrios, who's given away 2 free passes, a hit batter and then a walk with 2 outs.
And Jose Berrios wanted that pitch. He was asking home plate umpire Edwin Moscoso, where was that? I mean, it was a little bit off. Obviously, we have the benefit of that strike box and seeing the slow motion replay and all that stuff, but it's a good pitch, just a little bit off.
So first and second with 2 outs, and the always dangerous Taylor Ward to the plate. Berrios sets, looks at Neto at second, and the pitch. Ward hits it well. Center field, racing back Straw at the edge of the track, makes a running catch to end the inning. Berrios flirts with some danger, but gets out of it. No runs, no hits. 2 left for the Angels. 0-0 Blue Jays and Angels after 3 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The PGA Championship is coming, and you can hear all the action on Sirius XM.
Here it comes, down the slope, the shot of the week.
Rory McIlroy completed the career Grand Slam in April. Can Jordan Spieth do the same at Quail Hollow?
Cool thing if you're able to hold all 4. There's just not many people in the game that have done that, and that's what kind of stands the test of time.
PGA Championship Radio returns Monday, May 12th on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Beeson by the books.
Breaking news, the Dallas Cowboys have traded for George Pickens.
It's not a question about his talent. It was the effort level that has been the bugaboo for George Pickens over his 3 seasons in the NFL.
Cowboys plus 750 to win the NFC East. Also the Steelers plus 550 there in the AFC North.
Beeson by the books. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 Eastern on Sirius XM 158 and on the Sirius XM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on Sirius XM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
George Springer leads it off for the Blue Jays. Top of the 4th inning, no score between the Blue Jays and the Angels. Kikuchi to Springer. Swing and a miss, strike 1. A lot of former teammates hitting against Yusei Kikuchi today. George Springer has the unique side of playing with Kikuchi and being a division rival against him. 0-1 pitch is a check swing bouncer foul, 0-2. Springer faced Kikuchi a fair bit when he was at the tail end of his Astros career, and Kikuchi was a Mariner. With the ground ball double play in the first, George is 7 for 17 career against Kikuchi with a triple. 0-2. Downstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, both George Springer and Yusei Kikuchi are at very different points in their careers than they would have been when Kikuchi was in Seattle and Springer was in the middle of his Houston career, but he is probably the most familiar, maybe outside of Alejandro Kirk, with Kikuchi. 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Doesn't matter. Got him on a change for Kikuchi's second strikeout of the day.
You can see George Springer nodding his head, walking back to that dugout. I mean, that was a really good changeup. Had that split finger action, that downward movement to it. Really tough to hit.
Changeup that Yusei Kikuchi worked on developing as a Blue Jay. Became a big pitch for him. First pitch to Alejandro Kirk is popped up Foul right side. Shotwell lumbering over onto the side warning track. Reaches out and makes a tough over-the-shoulder catch. 2 down. This 4th inning brought to you by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. Two out, space is empty, no score in the game. Top of the 4th. Pitch to Ernie Clement. Called strike. You almost wonder if Clement was going to automatic take after the Blue Jays got out so quickly in this inning. Last inning, they made him use over 20 pitches. 0-1. Fouled off to the right, 0-2. So far in this inning, Kikuchi's thrown 7 pitches. There were nearly 30 in the 3rd inning. Left-handed starter. Rocks and offers. And Clement slices it away foul.
Kikuchi was shaking his head after that pitch, and I'm pretty sure it's because he threw a slider on the outside part of the plate, wanted to come down and in, wasn't happy with that location.
He's been away most of the game, whether he wants to or not. 0-2 is in the dirt. He spiked the changeup, was trying to go outside again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
If there's one thing that I learned, don't ever shake your head on the mound. You want the pitcher or the guy standing in that batter's box to think that's where you meant to throw it. So don't ever show him that you missed your spot, because then he'll know if you threw it out, you probably were trying to come in, and maybe you'll try to come in again. So come on, Yusei.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 96 right at the top of the zone? 3rd strikeout of the game for Kikuchi, who sets down the Blue Jays in order in the top of the 4th. 0-0, middle of 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep, because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
0-0, Blue Jays and Angels, bottom of the 4th inning. Jose Berrios back on the hill, taking on the middle of the Angels order, 4-5-6. Pitch to Jorge Soler. Swing and a grounder foul, 0-1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Tom Young, our technical director. Show Ali, our host and producer. Show and Tom will hang around into the late hours of the Eastern Time night for Jays Talk after the game. 0-1. Bounced, 1 ball, 1 strike.
5 straight late nights for those guys.
Whew. They're warriors. Warriors. The 1-1. Outside 2-1. I mean, you have to be a bit of a warrior after last night's game. Do Jays talk to 1:30 in the morning? Take some fortitude. 2-1 pitch. Low ball 3.
You got to throw a strike here in this situation. You don't want to walk Soler to to start this inning. Nobody out here. Throw something in the strike zone. Make Soler make contact.
Berrios kicks and offers. Called strike with a slurve inside. Missed his spot, but gets the zone. 3-2.
Well, he was trying to throw a strike there, but he didn't want to give Soler a cookie. Soler has a ton of power. Just throw that spinner up there. Not a bad pitch.
3-2. Inside with the sinker. Ball 4. That one ran way in off the plate. Soler to jump back to avoid getting hit.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
Where do you think I'm going to start?
New York. New York. Or no, never mind. I forgot about hockey.
Toronto. First, though, Logan O'Hoppe up to the plate. And the pitch. Called strike. Not that far from Rogers Center at Scotiabank Arena. The Toronto Maple Leafs coming back from 2 different deficits to defeat the Florida Panthers 4-3 tonight. 0-1 to O'Hoppe. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
I'm happy for your Leafs. My Jets are currently playing.
Your Jets? I like it.
I got to find a team somewhere.
Sure. It was Mitch Marner with the game-winning goal for the Maple Leafs. Scored 17 seconds after the Panthers tied it at 3 in the third. 0-2. Poked foul off of Alejandro Kirk. It rolled back into the field of play. Currently on Sportsnet, the Jets are in action. They're going up against the Dallas Stars. Game 1 of that series. No score in Anaheim. Runner on first. Nobody out. Bottom of the 4th. Berrios stretches out his arms above his head. Shrugs the shoulders. Peeks at first and sets at the belt. His 2-strike pitch. Swing and a line drive. One hops to short. Bichette picks it. Throws the second one. Jimenez to first. 6-4-3. Double play.
That's not where Jose Berrios wanted that pitch, but he'll take that result. It was just a hanging slurve right down the middle. He got that lucky double play there. That's a big couple of outs in this ball game.
Erases the leadoff walk and makes it 2 out. Spaces empty for Yoan Moncada, third baseman who struck out swinging in the second. First pitch lined right field, base hit. Split Vladdy and Jimenez on the right side, and probably would have been over their heads anyway. It's a 2-out single for Moncada. Quickly go back to the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll save the baseball updates for a bit because we did hockey. We'll go to NBA, where the Knicks authored a huge comeback, outscoring the Celtics in Boston by 13 in the 4th quarter to win 91-90. And the New York Knicks lead the Boston Celtics 2-0 in that series, about to go back to MSG.
That's good for basketball, though. To have the Knicks in it like that, that's good for basketball.
Pitch to Travis d'Arnaud. Swing and a fly ball out to left. Hanging up for Clase, who backs up near the track in the corner and makes the catch to end the inning. Jose Berrios pitches around a walk and a single. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Angels. We got a pitcher's duel in Anaheim. No score through 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Multicultural. International. Undeniable. Your connection to the sounds from the East. Hear the voices of a global phenomenon on SiriusXM K-pop. How you like that? Or explore trending hits by Asian talents from around the world on Horizon. Listen to these and more anytime at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
From dramatic walk-offs
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
to jaw-dropping dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on Sirius XM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on Sirius XM or streaming anytime on the Sirius XM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app. From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 5th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. 0-0. Yusei Kikuchi and Jose Berrios going punch for punch in this ball game. Kikuchi back on the hill to take on Andres Jimenez. Left on left, the pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Jimenez lined out to second in the 2nd inning. Hit the ball fairly hard, but right at Luis Rengifo. 1-0. Check swing roller back to the mound. Kikuchi fields, turns, and throws over to first. He's always been pretty sure-handed as a pitcher, and he makes a nice play for the first out.
Well, that's a tough matchup. Left on left is hard enough, but left on 96, 97 miles an hour, that's really hard, and that was a good slider down and away. Andres Jimenez really had no chance.
So Kikuchi gets Jimenez and now faces Miles Straw for the 2nd time. Straw came up with a single up the middle in the 3rd. The pitch. Ball to strike, looked a little outside, 0-1. Straw starting in center today after hitting Varsho against a lefty starter yesterday. They sat him against the harder throwing Kikuchi. 0-1. 95 top of the zone, strike 2.
I don't think Miles Straw liked that call. I mean, the first one was a ball called a strike, and that one was at the very top of the strike zone.
0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Chase to pitch up and away. 4th strikeout for Kikuchi and his 3rd in the last 5 batters.
Tough AB for Miles Straw, but that's what happens when you're facing a lefty who has plus stuff. You say is really, really on tonight, although that fastball there should not have been swung at.
2 chances for the Blue Jays really to score. They had 1st and 2nd, 1 out in the 1st, 1st and 2nd, 2 outs in the 3rd, but not a lot done against Kikuchi, who deals to Jonathan Clase and gets a big swing and a miss. Strike 1. 2 outs, bases empty, top of the 5th, no score. 0-1. Way high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Zip over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard quickly. The Yankees walk off the Padres in the 10th. J.C. Escarra came up with a game-winning hit, the backup catcher. Philadelphia defeats Tampa Bay today. The Phillies win 7-0 at Steinbrenner Field. 1-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Boston Red Sox scored 4 runs from the 6th to 8th combined against the Texas Rangers to down Texas. Boston wins the game 6-4 overall. Wilyer Abreu went deep twice in that game. 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And then the other AL East score, the Minnesota Twins defeat the Baltimore Orioles 5-2. The final score in that one, and the Twins take the first 2 games of the series. 2-2 pitch. Clase spoils it away, foul off to the right. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill in Anaheim. It's Angels 0, Blue Jays 0. Another 2-2. Called strike 3. 94 on the outside corner. 5th strikeout for Yusei Kikuchi, who has retired the last 7 he has faced. Middle of the 5th, 0-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gear up for an MLS doubleheader this weekend on Sirius XM FC. First, Minnesota United host Inter Miami.
He's in, Messi! Oh, yeah! It's a show tonight!
Then, the New York Red Bulls take on the LA Galaxy.
It's Fagundes! What a strike!
Coverage kicks off Saturday at 4 Eastern in English on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming in Spanish on Soccer and Espanol Channel 1999.
Let the games begin.
On Sirius XM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the Sirius XM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The Sirius XM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the SiriusXM app, then tell me to play the Blue Jays on SiriusXM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 0-0, bottom of the 5th inning. 8-9-1 for the Angels, starting with Luis Rengifo. Jose Berrios with a breath and the pitch. Sinker inside, ball 1. Rengifo was the last of 6 straight that Berrios struck out from the 1st to 3rd inning. Got Rengifo looking on a wicked moving sinker. The 1-0. Just outside. Probably a 50-50 pitch there. Called a ball. 2 balls, no strikes.
As good as Berrios has been tonight, he does have 3 walks.
Here's his 60th pitch of the day. High ball 3. It hasn't caused his pitch count to push up, and it hasn't gotten him in a ton of trouble because he's only allowed 2 hits, but he's also hit a batter too. It hasn't been his cleanest start. 3-0. Outside ball 4 and a leadoff walk to Rengifo.
It's interesting. He's made a lot of good pitches tonight, as you see him shaking his head, not happy with himself there, but he's made a ton of good pitches, but then he's made a ton of poor pitches too, just like those 4 pitches to Rengifo as Yariel Rodriguez starts to get loose. I don't think he's actually getting loose to come in this ball game. I think he's just getting loose to get loose.
For Berrios, the 4th walk matches a season high. And now his pitch to Kyron Paris. Swing and a miss. Big hacks from Paris all series. Berrios gets ahead of him 0-1.
But that's what Jose Berrios has really done all night tonight. He's lost it for 4 or 5 pitches, and then he's locked in for 12, 13, 14 pitches right after that. That's why he's pitching well so far.
0-1. Lined foul right side out of play. 0-2. His opponent, Kyron Paris, mired in a slump right now. 8 for his last 65. It's an average around 120. Paris burst onto the scene this year. At one point, hit 4 homers in 3 games for the Angels, but has slowed since. 2-strike pitch. Hit on the ground sharply, but foul wide of the third base bag. Still 0-2.
Left that changeup right over the middle. In an 0-2 count, you want to get that changeup below the strike zone. Paris just missed it, fouling it down that third baseline.
Runner on first, nobody out, bottom 5. 0-2 again. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt, appeal down to first base, and he didn't go, says Tom Hanahan. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. This game has been all about the starting pitching so far. 5 total hits in the game. 3 for the Blue Jays, 2 for the Angels, and all 5 of those hits have been singles. Berrios set, glove at his belt. The 1-2. Good slurve and a better take from Paris as he bent the knees to watch it miss off the plate down and away.
You said it. That was a great take from Paris. A lot of movement on that slurve. Caught a lot of the plate just below the strike zone.
2-2 count now. Still nobody out. Berrios kicks and delivers. Ball lined up the middle. Past Bo Bichette into center field. Up to second base goes Rengifo. It was a low line drive off the bat, but it split the middle infield pretty much perfectly, and Paris has his first hit today.
It wasn't a bad pitch from Jose Berrios. It was a sinker. They tried to get it in on the black, maybe left it over the inner third just a little bit, but it was down, and Paris does a good job going down and getting it. Might have got jammed just a little bit, but he finds that hole up the middle for a big base hit for the Angels.
Huge spot now in this game for Los Angeles. 2 on, nobody out, in the top of the order coming up. Zach Neto to the plate. Neto hasn't really had a chance to swing yet. Walked on 5 pitches in the first, hit by a pitch in the third. Berrios offers. Neto squares to bunt, pops it up. Kirk racing after it, but it's bunted too far behind the plate. It's going to drop in foul. 0-1.
Nothing better than a popped up bunt. That's what I always say.
I will say he put it out there a little late. That's kind of a halfway in between a sacrifice and a bunt for a base hit.
He definitely didn't square. That was kind of one. Yeah, right. That was one of those in between ones. But when you're in between like that, it's really hard to get the bunt down.
Because I would have been surprised to see Neto full on sacrifice. I mean, he is in a 2-horse race with Logan O'Hoppe for the best hitter on the team right now. 0-1. Up and in. Down to his chest as he fell backwards, twisting away from the pitch goes Neto as that one whizzed past his chin.
That's a scary pitch right there. Wow.
Neto picks himself up, dusts himself off, and gets back in the righty batter's box. First and second, no outs. Berrios with a check on second. And he balked. Put his right hand up in the air. He's not arguing. He knows he did it. Runner on second base, Luis Rengifo, pointed out that he balked. Although, to be honest, I'm not immediately sure on what he did.
So he just moved really slightly. You can see it on this. We're about to get the slow motion replay. That is
the subtlest of moves with his lead left leg.
That's a tough balk, but that is a balk.
Just twitched. But that's all you really need to do to balk. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And now the inning changes dramatically. Berrios is really hunting a strikeout here. Runners on second and third. Nobody out. And the Blue Jays are going to play the majority of the infield back. Vladdy is in at first.
Alejandro Kirk has to be a wall back there. Jose Berrios has to trust you that you're gonna block everything in this situation with that run standing out at third base.
Neto will punch out. Only 3 walks to 18 strikeouts this year. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Threw that perfect slurve down and away, and that's a massive first out.
What a great pitch. That's a pitch that's been working for him all night long. The changeup, the slurve. What a big strikeout. Now you're going for another strikeout here.
Blue Jays are going to walk Nolan Shotwell first intentionally, a left-handed hitter who does have a hit and a walk today. They'll get Berrios a right-on-right matchup and create forces all around as Pete Walker goes out for a visit. As Walker talks it over with the infield and Berrios, we can go back to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. On Sportsnet, the Jets hosting the Stars in a whiteout in Winnipeg. Game 1 of that second-round series. And the Jets strike early in the second period. Nino Niederreiter with his 3rd goal of the playoffs from Mason Appleton and Hayden Fleury makes it 1-0 for the Jets in the second period. Now kind of midway into the second. About 14 minutes left to go in that period in Winnipeg. Out of town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Blue Jays and Angels knotted up at 0. Big opportunity still for Los Angeles. 1 out, bases now loaded after the intentional walk of Shawnuel. And here's Taylor Ward. Strikeout and line out to center today for Ward. Berrios offers. Called strike. Sinker started off the plate away, broke back over the plate.
Obviously, best case scenario here would be a double play, but now if you're ahead in the count, Jose Berrios is definitely going for a strikeout in this situation.
The 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Similar to Neto, Ward is a free swinger. This is game 35 on the year for the Angels. Ward has struck out 37 times. Make it 38 actually after he struck out in the first. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball foul. Hit that hard. Could have been extra bases down the left field line if it was 2 feet, maybe 3 feet to the right.
Well, Ward just missed that thing. That was a backup breaking ball, a backup slurve, a little spinner at the bottom of the strike zone. He was just out in front of it.
Watch out if you're Luis Rengifo. Hit that ball right at Rengifo, who acrobatically got out of the way. The 1-2. High fastball up and in. Didn't hit Ward, but got close. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No score, bottom 5. Rengifo on third, Paris on second, Shawnuel on first. It's been a walk, a single, a balk, an intentional walk, and in the middle, Berrios with a strikeout. Here's 2-2. Called strike 3, 95 on the outside edge. It doesn't get better than that.
That was nasty. It started off the plate and then sank back over the black. What a sinker from Berrios. That was a lot like the one he threw earlier to Rengifo, except that was a left-handed hitter. This was obviously a right-handed hitter, but a big pitch in this ball game.
Infield can back up at all spots now. Bases loaded, 2 down, and the pitch to Jorge Soler outside, ball 1. While Berrios, after the intentional walk, set a new season high in walks with his 5th of the game. He's also matched his season high in strikeouts. This is the 3rd time he's punched out 8 in a game this year. Righty kicks and offers. Slurve low, 2-0.
And now you have to throw a strike with the bases loaded. 2 outs in this inning. You don't want to walk Soler. You don't want to go 3-0 to him, so you have to throw a strike in this situation.
Soler is dangerous. 197 career home runs. Swing and a chopper to third. Clement has it, races to third base, steps on the bag, and somehow Berrios escapes again. After second and third, nobody out. The Angels strand the bases loaded on 1 hit. They do not score. We go to the 6th, 0-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A team's defense is as precious as gold.
Oh, what a catch! A great catch by Dalton Varsho.
Brilliant displays of athleticism, pure talent, instinct, and ability.
And it's caught!
An invaluable defensive presence. He is simply
the best outfielder in baseball.
On Wednesday, May 14th, celebrate this golden honor with the Dalton Varsho Gold Glove bobblehead. Available for the first 15,000 fans in attendance. Your golden chance for tickets awaits at BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
6th inning, Yusei Kikuchi deals home and hits the zone with a fastball. Pardon me, a change to get ahead of Bo Bichette, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. No score, Blue Jays and Angels. Kikuchi offers, and Bichette powers it foul off to the right, 0-2. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised, Chris, that this is a low-scoring game. The Angels have made it really tough for Yusei Kikuchi to pick up his first win in a Halos uniform. 0-2, down and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In his 7 starts coming into this game, they've scored 20 total runs, fewer than 3 per game. The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball, backhanded at third by Moncada. Snaps the throw over to first offline, and Shawnuel with the tag. Bichette's hand came up high and clipped Shawnuel, but he's apologizing to the first baseman for the accidental collision. There's 1 down.
I think his hand might have hit him in the face. You could see Bo Bichette coming over to Nolan Shawnuel asking if he's okay. Shawnuel kind of shaking his head a little bit.
Throw tailed up the line. Shawnuel had to come off, catch the ball, make the tag, and it actually looked like Bichette was trying to put his arm over Shawnuel, who was a little bit in the base path, but didn't put it up high enough. Got him in the face. First pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. called a strike, 0-1.
I think everybody's okay, though.
You do see something in baseball every day that you haven't seen before. A guy accidentally smacking the first baseman in the face. 0-1 to Vlad. Swing and a miss. Change up down the middle, but had Guerrero out in front. 0-2.
Looked like a fastball, and you could tell that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. thought that thing was a fastball, too, way out in front of it.
Vlad 1 for 1 today. A single to left and an intentional walk. 0-2. Swing and a ground ball right side. Fair ball as it tight ropes the line and rolls into the right field corner. Guerrero around first. He'll go into second as Soler digs it out of the corner, and it's a double for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his 7th of the year.
Well, it was a really good pitch. It was a fastball at 95 on the black outside. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. kind of just looked like he was just trying to foul that thing off, but he hit it just inside that first base bag down the right field line, and he's all smiles at second base.
It's almost kind of a Bo Bichette swing as he hit that one the other way. So Vladdy on second, 1 out. Anthony Santander coming up. 0-0 game. It feels like 1 or 2 runs could mean a lot in this ball game where offense has been tough to come by. Only 7 hits total, 4 for the Blue Jays, 3 for the Angels. The pitch to Santander. Called strike. This 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Santander 1 for 2 today. Faces an 0-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball up the middle. Base hit into center field. Guerrero around third. Throw to the plate from Perez. Not in time. Vladdy dives in head first, and the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead on an RBI single from Anthony Santander.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. got a very good jump on that ground ball up the middle. It was to the left, and when that ground ball is to the left, you take off to third base. Fortunately for the Blue Jays, it gets through up the middle, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. scores a big first run in this ball game.
First hit for the Blue Jays with a runner in scoring position in this series in their 11th try. And it's a big one as Toronto finally gets to Yusei Kikuchi to take a 1-0 lead.
Vladimir Guerrero needs a smaller helmet. That's the second time that helmet's come flying off tonight.
First pitch to George Springer, called a strike, 0-1.
Or maybe he doesn't. Kind of cool.
Can I tell you a secret, Chris? I think he knocks that off. So I don't think the size matters. 1 out, 1-0. Santander on first. The 0-1 to Springer. Called strike, 0-2. He either does it on purpose or it happens so often that he does not care.
I need to see a replay.
Take a look at the commercial break. 1 out, the 0-2. Bounce to the plate. Good block off the chest by Darno. Shuffled to his left.
Like we said, Santander is not hot yet, but he's slowly getting there. Big hit from him.
2 hits now in the game for Anthony Santander. Drives in his 14th of the season. Tied for 3rd on the Blue Jays in RBIs behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in first and George Springer, who's at the plate. Kikuchi's going to step off before dealing the 1-2. Lefty Brock Burke getting loose for the Angels in their bullpen. Kikuchi's 87th pitch. Way high off the glove of d'Arnaud to the backstop, and Santander will just mosey on up to second in a light jog.
And that's something that you just don't really see from big league pitchers. You don't see fastballs that far out of the strike zone. Yusei Kikuchi sometimes throws those fastballs arm side high. You could see Travis d'Arnaud doing everything he could to catch that baseball. That's a big wild pitch in this ball game.
Puts a runner in scoring position again. 2-2 count now to George Springer. Kikuchi kicks and offers. Outside, ball 3. Springer asks for time, takes a deep breath, shrugging his shoulders, and steps back in. A tap of the plate. He brings the bat up to his right shoulder, looks out at the Japanese lefty, Kikuchi. 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Good backdoor slider near the top of the zone. 2 outs.
Yeah, George Springer's frustrated with himself. You could tell that he wanted to at least make contact with that baseball. That's a big strikeout in this inning, especially with that guy in scoring position and less than 2 outs.
So still Santander on second. Blue Jays up 1-0. And with 2 outs, it's Alejandro Kirk coming up. But first, it's going to be a meeting on the mound. With that, we can go back to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Went through some of the divisional baseball scores, but if you weren't with us earlier, Red Sox beat the Rangers 6-4 in Boston. Rays fell to the Phillies 7-0 at George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa Bay. The Yankees walked off the Padres 4-3 in the Bronx, and it was the Orioles falling to the Twins 5-2 in Minnesota at Target Field. Another score to look at. Mariners, the next opponent for the Blue Jays. They came back today after trailing 5-0 early on to the Athletics. Mariners scored 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 8th, including a game-tying single by the newest Mariner, Leody Taveras, picked up off waivers from Texas. He tied the game before Dylan Moore knocked him in to help the Mariners beat the Athletics 6-5. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1-0 Blue Jays, 2 outs, top of the 6th. Runner on second, and Kikuchi's going to check on Santander, who's back into the bag safely. It's Alejandro Kirk at the plate, 0 for 2 today, but he came into this game 13 for 33 over his last 8. That's a near 400 average in his 8 starts before today. First pitch is a curveball backdoor for strike 1. Haven't seen a lot of that curve today.
Not a bad pitch either. I mean, it was at the top of the strike zone, probably not where he wanted it, but it had pretty good break to it.
The 0-1. Swing and a ground ball to short. Fielded on the forehand side by Neto. He throws over to first to get Kirk and end the inning. Blue Jays on the board. 1 run on 2 hits. It was Vladdy's double that set up the RBI single by Anthony Santander. Santander left on base. It's 1-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Ross Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
The playoffs continue on Sirius XM NBA Radio as the Oklahoma City Thunder host the Denver Nuggets. Live coverage on now as the Thunder try to even their conference semifinal while the Nuggets try to take a commanding 2-0 lead back to the Mile High City. It's on Sirius XM Channel 86 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are. Your team plays here.
This is Mike Farron from Power Alley. When you work together as long as former general manager Jim Duquette and I have.
5 years.
13. Regardless, we know everything about each other, like my favorite city.
New York.
Chicago. My favorite food.
Hot dog with lots of ketchup.
Gross. My favorite musician.
Billy Joel.
Somehow even more gross. Jim, what do you actually know about me?
You love baseball, just like me.
Join us for baseball talk and apparently very little else on Power Alley, weekdays 10 a.m. Eastern, MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Well said, Mitch.
It's Mike.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Bottom 6 in Anaheim, tight ball game, but the Blue Jays just edged ahead on an Anthony Santander RBI single. 1-0 Toronto, bottom of the 6th. Jose Berrios, today's starter, back out on the hill to take on 5, 6, 7 in the Angels order, starting with Logan O'Hoppe. Right on right, Berrios offers home. Outside, ball 1. Berrios has pulled a rabbit out of a hat a couple times today. He's stranded 7 base runners overall. 5 walks, 3 singles allowed, 1 hit batter. 1-0 pitch called a strike, 1-1.
If you would have told me before the ball game that Jose Berrios would have had 5 walks in this ball game and 0 earned runs allowed, I probably would have said you're crazy.
Yeah. Not the usual way he does it. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. A lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts. Typically he's in the zone a ton. He's not striking out that many guys, and he's getting a lot of contact on the ground. There hasn't been a ground out. There's been one, a ground ball double play hit by O'Hoppe. 1-2 pitch inside, 2-2. See, only out that one and then the fielder's choice in the 5th. So 2 of his 15 outs have come on balls on the ground. Righties 2-2. Called strike 3. Backdoor sinker freezes O'Hoppe. That's strikeout number 9 in the game, a new season high for Jose Berrios.
Well, you can see Logan O'Hoppe walking back to the dugout saying that's a ball. My friend, that is not a ball. That is a great sinker right on the black outside. Just clipped the corner. What a pitch. That's a big out. This is a shutdown inning. Your team gets a big first run in this ball game. You have to get a shutdown inning.
His pitch to Yohan Moncada. Hopped up, foul, third base side. Clement racing to the side, warning track and back toward left. That one's going to fall into the 5th row seats. It's 0-1. Second game back from a thumb injury for Moncada. Sprained his thumb early in the season. It was an injury he also had in spring training. But he showed up in a big way yesterday. Hit a 3-run homer in the 8th that really put the game out of question. 0-1. Swing and a deep fly ball. Right field. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's out of here. Homers on back-to-back days for Yohan Moncada, and with one swing, the Angels tie it. 1-1 game, bottom 6.
Alejandro Kirk wanted that slurve down and away. You could see that target, but Jose Berrios unfortunately left that thing hanging inner third, and Moncada again with a beautiful swing, a towering home run to right field.
Second of the season for Yohan Moncada, who before yesterday had not homered since September 29th, 2023. One out, Travis d'Arnaud up in a 1-1 game, and he bounces one over the mound. Backhanded Jimenez, long throw from the wrong side of the second base bag in time. That's a heck of a play, 2 down.
Well, he knew that Travis d'Arnaud was running. Travis d'Arnaud doesn't have a ton of speed, so he was able to collect himself, get a good grip on the baseball, and throw that thing across the field for out number 2.
Jose Berrios now on 87 pitches, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, 1-1 game. Switch hitting Luis Rengifo up, batting left, the pitch. Swing and a ground ball to short. Bichette has it, pumps, throws on to first, right at Guerrero for the out to end the inning. Yoan Moncada with a solo home run in the bottom of the 6th, and it's a fresh ball game again. 1-1 is the score as we go to the 7th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Are you ready for some football? On Wednesday, May 21st, gear up for football season with the George Springer replica football jersey giveaway presented by TD. Rush to the ballpark because this giveaway is available to the first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center. It's Wednesday night. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Saturday, May 17th at Rogers Center is Barbie Game Day. Like Barbie, you can be anything. Just be sure to be at Rogers Center on Saturday, May 17th for Barbie Game Day. Be one of the first 15,000 fans to get your Blue Jays Barbie Hawaiian shirt giveaway. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 8 punch out for Easton Lucas
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
7th inning, 1-1, Blue Jays and Angels. This 7th inning brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. New pitcher for Los Angeles. They go from one lefty to another. Reed Detmers is into the game. The former starter takes over out of the pen in his 12th appearance of the year. Due to some recent stumbles, Detmers with an ERA over 8 in 14 1/3 innings. His pitch to Ernie Clement is an over-the-top curveball, low, ball 1. Detmers is starter for parts of each of the last 4 seasons, particularly good in 2022. 1-0. Big curveball again, misses high and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Or pardon me, 2 balls, no strikes. 4-seamer curve, slider, changeup sinker for Detmers. He winds and offers. Line drive, left field, base hit, down in the corner, bouncing up against the wall. Clement tears around first, jogs into second with a leadoff double.
It's a pretty good swing from Ernie Clement right there. But you mentioned the recent struggles of Reed Detmers. 9 earned runs in his last third of an inning. That'll do it to you.
It's across 2 different outings.
Well, yeah, 2 different outings, but still.
1/3 of an inning. Came in against Seattle on the road on the 30th of April. Gave up 5 hits and 5 runs without recording an out. Corners in now. Andres Jimenez up. Squares to bunt, and the first pitch is down and away, so he pulls it back. Ball 1.
5 runs without getting an out. I've given up 5 runs before in an inning, but I've gotten out of the inning. I've gotten 3 outs in that inning without getting an out. That is tough to stomach. If you're a reliever, if you're a starter, doesn't really matter.
Detmers 1-0. Jimenez squares again, pulls it back, takes a strike on the edge. 2 straight sliders from the lefty. It's 1-1. Pitching change to put Detmers in is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 1-1 game. Jimenez squaring very early. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's bunted toward third base. Fielded by Shotwell, the first baseman. Throw to first, not in time. Pardon me, it was Detmers who grabbed the ball, looked to third for a moment, and that might have been his demise. There was no play at third, and by the time he threw back to first, Andres Jimenez had blown through the bag.
Well, that was a really good sac bunt. Obviously, Andres Jimenez giving himself up. And John Schneider and the training staff is actually out to to have a chat with Andres Jimenez at first base right now. Not sure what that's about.
We're getting another look at it right now. So Detmers went to the third baseline, turned and threw to first, and I think that Jimenez, racing to first, stepped on the bag awkwardly. We saw this a couple days ago with Jose Ramirez, who had to miss one game because of this. It looked like Andres really stomped down on that first base bag.
Yeah, he stomped down, took a couple of awkward steps, but he's walking around right now, and he looks pretty okay to me. He's back on the bag, and he's going to stay in this ball game. It's a big deal for this Blue Jays roster.
It's ruled a base hit, by the way, for Andres Jimenez. Runners on the corners, nobody out, and Miles Straw up in a tie game. 1-1 is the score. Left on right, the pitch. Swing and a foul off, 0-1.
That's a good call. I mean, that's a base hit all day long. Reed Detmers fielded that baseball cleanly, didn't bobble it, threw to first base, and Andres Jimenez just beat it out.
The 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. So Reed Detmers in a bit of a pickle here. 10th overall pick by the Angels in 2020 out of Louisville, the 2019 ACC Pitcher of the Year. Gave up a double to Clement and then a bunt single on a sac bunt attempt to Andres Jimenez. Runners on the corners, no outs. Lefties 0-2. Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit into center field. Jogging home, Clement. Up to second base goes Jimenez. RBI single, Miles Straw, and the Blue Jays jump back in front 2-1.
It really wasn't a bad pitch from Reed Detmers, but Miles Straw was protecting with 2 strikes in that count. Went down and got it. It was a good slider down below the strike zone. What a big hit for the Blue Jays.
Second hit of the game for Miles Straw, who continues to impress offensively early on this season.
He golfed that thing up the middle.
Ron Washington's going to walk out to the mound now. Some discontent from the Angels fans. This has been a tough time for Reed Detmers, a guy who broke onto the scene, pitching very well as a starter, through a no-hitter in 2022, is off after allowing 3 hits, including the 1 run after the double given up to Ernie Clement. So a pitching change again for the Angels, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. And as you know, we've done this a lot the last couple weeks. Hockey in the Stanley Cup playoffs is where we'll start. Second round underway. Last night, a pair of games had the Hurricanes taking a 1-0 series lead with a 2-1 OT win over the Capitals. And the Oilers with a pair of late goals to stun the Golden Knights 4-2. They also take a 1-0 series lead. Tonight, we have 2 games, including Game 2 of Leafs-Panthers as this Atlantic Division rivalry continues. The Leafs hanging on for a 4-3 win. Let's hear the game winner, courtesy of Joe Bowen.
Leafs have got to get some offense going here as the shot went wide of the Florida net. Shot then by. They score! Holy mackerel! A seeing-eye bullet from Mitch Marner! Off the fireboard!
A euphoric Joe Bowen as the Leafs hang on for that 4-3 win. Anton Lundell had tied the game midway through the third, but Marner grabbing the eventual game winner, his 4th career playoff winner. It came 23 seconds after the Panthers had tied the game. Either way, the Leafs now take a 2-0 series lead to Sunrise for Friday's game in Florida, which, of course, will be on Sportsnet. And also going on right now, the second game this evening, the Stars taking on the Jets in Winnipeg. Both of these teams needing Game 7 to advance to the second round. Been goals galore. Right now, it's Stars up 3-2 on the Jets. Lots of goals, including Mark Scheifele just getting one back, his 3rd of the playoffs. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue with the call.
Thank you very much, Joe. Chris and myself here in the Timbermark broadcast booth. Tom Young, our technical director, also on the broadcast as well, alongside Show, our host and producer. On the mound for the Angels, the right-hander Ryan Zefferjon is into the game. 4.22 ERA for Zefferjon in 13 appearances. Blue Jays up 2-1. They've already knocked in a run this inning, and now the infield is coming in. It's runners on first and second, corners on the infield grass, expecting a bunt from Jonathan Clase. Switch hitter now turned around hitting left. Squares to bunt, puts it down foul, 0-1. If that was a sacrifice attempt, the square was a little bit later than usual for Clase, but it might have been one of those in-between jobs where you put it out there halfway in between when you would square early for the sac bunt and squaring late to try and bunt for a hit. Corners way in again. Zephyr John, the righty, looks at second. One more peek in the pitch. Squaring and putting it down is Clase, third base side. Zephyr John bare hands, throws to first, not in time. Second bunt hit of the inning for the Blue Jays. You like small ball. This is about as small as it gets as the bases are loaded with no outs.
Well, I can almost guarantee that John Schneider gave him the sac bunt sign, but it didn't look like a sac bunt to me. Clase was out of the batter's box like he was kind of drag bunting that or push bunting that. And boy, can he fly down that line. He beats that easily.
And Zephyr John made an off-balance throw on a line to first, right on the money. But there's the athleticism of Clase. Picks up his first hit of this Major League season. Bases are loaded, no outs for Bo Bichette. Infield in, Zephyr John rocks and deals. First pitch fouled straight back, 0-1. That was the cutter from Zephyr John at 88. His main pitch will throw it over half of the time, but he's got a high 90s four-seamer as well and a sweeper. Righty's 0-1. In the dirt. Good pick there on the backhand side from Darno. Saves a run.
How would you like to face Bo Bichette with nobody out and the infield in?
Not fun.
That is a tough ask. Holy cow.
Bichette is looking for his first hit of the series. He's off to a slow start to the trip. What better time than now? 2-1 Blue Jays. No outs, bases loaded. Top of 7. The pitch is lined left field. Base hit. Coming in to score, Jimenez. Straw around third. He scores right behind him, and the Blue Jays knock in 2 more on a Bo Bichette RBI single. It's 4-1 Toronto.
Well, how about that swing from Bo Bichette? It was a cutter up. It was kind of spinning. It was backup cutter, and Bo Bichette stayed right on it and hammered that thing to left field. A big couple of runs in this ball game.
Jimenez just needed to jog home, and Straw so quick the throw never even got close to the plate. Cut off in the infield. So it's first and second for the Blue Jays. Still nobody out. 4-1, top of the 7th inning. Zephyr John to Vlad Guerrero Jr. In the dirt, another nice backhanded pick by Darno. Ball 1.
That closes the book on Reed Detmers.
Gives up 3 hits and 3 runs without recording an out. He is really going through it right now. Much of the Angels' bullpen is. They have one of the highest bullpen ERAs in baseball, and they've constantly been making changes as the season's gone on. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
I don't think I've ever seen a run where a guy has given up 12 runs, 12 earned runs in just a third of an inning.
It's really tough.
That is really tough to do, and it's obviously I'm worried about his confidence.
1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. That is the tightrope that the Angels walk at times. They have been known to promote guys early recently, which gives a lot of their young talent exposure to the big leagues, and it's worked out for some guys like Zach Neto, Nolan Shonowell, but there's another edge to that sword where it works out poorly and things really go wrong. 1-2 pitch is popped up by Vlad. It's going to go out of play, foul off to the right. Still 1-2.
And there are still nobody out in this inning. Runners on first and second. Blue Jays up 4-1 in this ball game now.
As Toronto saw yesterday, though, games can turn in a hurry. Can't rest on a 3-run lead. Clase on second, Bichette on first. A look at second, the 1-2. Inside at 97, Vladdy puts his hands in the air, shakes his hips. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vladdy's 2 for 2 today. A single, a double, a run scored. Also was intentionally walked. 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. 97 on the outside corner. It just doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, that's tough, especially when you're expecting the cutter. You were mentioning earlier that he throws a cutter over 50% of the time, and then he just fires that thing in there. Travis Darno pointing out at him, letting him know that that's a good pitch. That is a perfect pitch on the black outside.
You can see why Zephyr John was a third-rounder by the Red Sox in 2019 out of the University of Kansas.
I'm wondering why he wasn't a first-rounder out of the University of Kansas.
He was a starter then. Maybe didn't have quite the zip that he does now. First pitch to Santander. Cut on and miss. Strike one. Moved to the bullpen in the minors in 2022. Dealt from the Red Sox at the deadline last year. One of four guys traded over to the Angels for reliever Luis Garcia. Is 0-1. Swing and a pop-up foul back behind the plate out of play. Nothing in two. Santander, the switch hitter, turned around to bat from the left side. He's had a good day from the right side so far. 2 for 3. He had an RBI single last inning that put the Blue Jays up 1-0. Now they lead 4-1. First and second, one out, top of the seventh. And the 0-2. Swing and a grounder, hooked to second base. Picked up there by Rengifo. His only play is over to first, and there are two down.
Now you have runners at second and third and 2 outs. It's a big at-bat for George Springer. These are big couple of runs in this ball game. As we've seen last night, really no lead is safe.
Springer 0 for 3 today. A rare quiet game at the plate for him this season. Ground ball double play and 2 strikeouts. Thought there was a chance that maybe Ron Washington would put him on, but they decide to pitch to him. They have gotten the better of Springer today. Zephyr John sets, and the right-hander looks at second, deals home. Check swing, pitch was low, appeal down to first, and he did not go. Ball 1. Springer is the 8th Blue Jay to hit this inning. Toronto started the frame with 5 straight hits to score 3 runs. (1-0). Outside, 2-0. This was already decided, but as well as Yusei Kikuchi pitched, he is not going to end up with his first win as an Angel again. Not going to factor into this decision. 2-0. Inside, ball 3.
I would imagine that there's a chance Ron Washington just puts Springer on right now. I guess not. He's getting back in that box.
Maybe you throw something off the plate, and if he swings, he swings.
Then you risk a wild pitch, and that run at third base scores. That's what I'm thinking.
You are right. Here's the 3-0. Swing and a miss. He threw a cutter on the edge. Springer clearly had the green light. It's now 3-1. With 2 outs and runners off on contact, a single to the outfield likely scores 2. It's Bichette on second, Clase on third, 2 outs. 3-1. Check swing, called strike. Cutter clipped the top part of the zone, full count.
That actually caught a lot of the strike zone. George Springer didn't like that call for whatever reason, but I mean, that got a lot of the strike zone.
4-1 Blue Jays, 3 runs in this inning. Here's the 3-2. Called strike 3. Cutter at the knees. Gets Springer looking to end the inning. But the Blue Jays score 3 runs on 5 hits, including 2 bunt singles. They leave 2 on, and they lead 4-1 at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This Tuesday on City TV, only one act is going to walk out of here with $1 million. Shania Shania Twain returns for the Canada's Got Talent live finale.
I was expecting world-class talent, and that's what I got.
The final 8 acts battle it out for your vote. The show-stopping season finale.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Canada's Got Talent, the live finale, Tuesday 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field, to the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 4-1 Blue Jays as Toronto resumes play at Angels Stadium, leading the Angels by 3 runs. Bottom of the 7th, and a new defensive alignment for the Blue Jays after Andres Jimenez came up a little awkward on his bunt single. He's out of the game. Ernie Clement shifts from 3rd to 2nd. Addison Barger in at 3rd. Jose Berrios still on the hill. First pitch to Kyron Paris is jacked to center. Straw going back at the track, leaps at the wall. It's gone. First home run for Paris since the 2nd week of April, but it's his 6th of the year, and the Angels cut into the deficit now 4-2.
Yeah, Paris does have a ton of power. That was a fastball right down the middle at 91, and he was ready with it. 410 feet out to center field, 107 miles an hour off the bat. Still a 4-2 ball game.
John Schneider walking out to the hill. We can take a quick look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Yankees win today. They're 21-16. The Red Sox won. They're 19-19. Blue Jays are 16-19 entering play today. The Rays lost. They're 16-20. And the Orioles lost. They're 13-22. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 4-2 Blue Jays. Let's go over to our host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We mentioned results in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Second round well underway. Once again, the Leafs hanging on for a 4-3 Game 2 win over the Panthers. They take a 2-0 series lead to Sunrise, Florida. Game 3 will be in Florida on Friday. Puck drop on Sportsnet will be just after 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific as usual. Going on right now, the second game this evening, the Stars are in Winnipeg to take on Jeff Blair's Jets. At the end of 2, the Stars lead the Jets 3-2. Mikko Rantanen had a natural hat trick in the second period. Goals 1, 2, and 3, all for the Stars, in between Niederreiter and Scheifele goals, all coming from Mikko Rantanen. So that's a real good trade for the Dallas Stars. The PWHL playoffs also in full swing right now. And the Toronto Scepters taking on the Minnesota Frost this evening. The Scepters picking up a 3-2 win in Game 1. Blair Turnbull with a goal. Rookie Julia Gosling with a pair of goals. Game 2 will go on Friday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific in Toronto at Coca-Cola Coliseum in downtown Toronto. And elsewhere, Game 1 for Montreal-Ottawa will go tomorrow. That's Thursday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That game will be at the Bell Center. Blue Jays baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. With the Blue Jays up 4-2, they'll go to the right-hander Yariel Rodriguez in the bottom of the 7th inning. Toronto took a chance, leaving Jose Berrios out there to start the 7th. He had been really good today, but that ended up burning them as the first pitch of the inning was hit out of the yard.
Yeah, just 89 pitches in this ball game. He's looked pretty good so far, for the majority of the game. But again, just a fastball over the middle, and Paris has a ton of power.
So now Rodriguez in his 14th appearance starts with a fastball to Zach Neto, strike 1. Yariel with a 5.65 ERA. And often when he's gotten into trouble, it's been his own control, not guys hitting him. They hit for mid-200s average. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Yariel is just find the strike zone. If you can find the strike zone, you're probably going to be okay. That fastball there was nowhere near the strike zone.
Righty from the stretch, the 1-1. Called strike, 1-2. It is interesting, Rodriguez, going from the windup last year, as most starters do, has now reverted back to a more typical reliever motion with just the brief stretch motion to the plate. Tucks the ball into his glove. Glove pressed against his stomach. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him to chase the slider outside. 1 down.
That was another kind of sidearm slider from Yariel Rodriguez. Really effective. We saw that last outing. I kind of liked it. That one there has a ton of horizontal movement.
Slider's arguably his most important pitch. Throws it more to right-handed batters than he does his four-seam fastball. His pitch to Nolan Shawanoa. Left-handed hitter takes ball 1 up top.
For me, the reason why I like relievers only pitching from the stretch is because as a reliever, your biggest pitches will be from the stretch. So why not just throw from the stretch all the time and kind of
1-0 is outside, 2-0.
Just put that wind up in your back pocket and kind of forget about it for the rest of your career as a reliever.
Right, I guess you're coming in with guys on base so often, you wouldn't get a chance to wind up there anyway. 1 out, base is empty, the 2-0. Slider for a strike. In addition to the mid to high 90s four-seamer in the slider, Rodriguez throws a split finger a lot of the time to left-handed hitters like Shawanoa. He'll also mix in a sinker, although that's pretty much reserved for righties. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Another good slider, 2-2.
Yeah, he's got the command of his pitch. He's thrown a couple of fastballs in this outing, nowhere near the strike zone, but the majority of his pitches so far have been pretty good.
4-2 Blue Jays. 1 out, base is empty, bottom 7. Cuban right-hander settles in on the hill, a breath. And the 2-2. Lined left center, Straw coming in, slides and makes a backhanded catch. That's the Gold Glover, Miles Straw, taking a hit away.
What a play out there in center field. And if Miles Straw doesn't come up with that catch out there for the big out, that brings the tying run to the plate. What a play out there in center field.
Also the first time they've retired Shawanoa today. It took a lot, but they finally get him out on the 4th try. 2 outs, the pitch to Taylor Ward. Slider for a strike. Ten pitches so far for Yariel Rodriguez. A strikeout and a lineout. Right on right, the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. One. Hopped up near first base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Ernie Clement converging. It'll be Clement to make the catch in between second and first and end the inning after the leadoff homer off Berrios. Job well done from Yariel Rodriguez. Gets the top third of the order out in order to keep it 4-2 Blue Jays after 7 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The drama builds. Baseball's in full swing. This ball's gone! Hear every MLB game on Sirius XM.
And they'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Listen to your favorite team all season long with your hometown announcers on the Sirius XM app.
A breathtaking home run by Aaron Judge.
For a complete MLB schedule, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
What a night!
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
I'm John Palmarosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jays fans, this is George Springer, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
George Springer, airborne, snatches it out of the sky.
The Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young, our technical director. Show Ali will host Blue Jays Talk following the conclusion of the game. You can already get your text in at 590-590. Standard message and data rates may apply. New pitcher for the Angels, Connor Brogdon's first pitch to Alejandro Kirk is lined into left field, and Kirk's got his first hit of the game. Pitching change to Brogdon is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Brogdon, a longtime Philly and one appearance Dodger, now makes his first appearance as an Angel, called up yesterday. Also a change on the infield for the Angels. Luis Rengifo is out of the game, and into the game is Kevin Newman. Right on right, the pitch to Ernie Clement, called strike 0-1. And to go back a little bit, last inning, there were runners on first and second. Anthony Santander hit a ground ball to second. Looking back at it, Rengifo could have turned two to end the inning. I think he might have not known how many outs there were.
That's what I thought.
Next pitch to Clement, popped up. Foul, first base side, angling near the Blue Jay dugout. It's caught by Shotwell, the first baseman. One down.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because as the play was happening, I knew there was one out. I knew in my mind there was one out. But watching Rengifo, he made me question whether there was actually one out or not, because it looked like he played that baseball like there was two outs. And it's funny that you say that.
And when you got a guy like Ron Washington as your manager, sometimes you're going to get subbed out of a game for something like that. Maybe not, but that's what it sure looks like. Addison Barger hitting for the first time after coming in for Andres Jimenez. First pitch is hit high, deep right field. That one is going to hook foul, but had more than enough to be a home run if it had just stayed straight.
Well, he hammered that baseball. That was just a hanging changeup right down the middle from Connor Brogdon, and unfortunately for Addison Barger, he hooked that just a little bit too much.
Haven't seen the slugger go deep in the big leagues yet this year. This is his 37th at-bat. He hit 7 in just over 200 ABs last year. 0-1 outside. Alejandro Kirk on first, one out. 4-2 Blue Jays, top of the 8th. First inning of work for Connor Brogdon. Tall, lanky right-hander sets at his stomach in the pitch. Swing and a ground ball, first base side foul. 1-2. Mix for Brogdon, a low to mid-90s four-seamer, changeup, and a cutter. It's a 10th rounder by the Phillies in 2017 out of Lewis Clark State College in Idaho, an NAIA school, an adjacent sports governing body to the NCAA. 1-2. Swing and a liner, right field, base hit. Kirk had to wait a moment. He'll scurry up to second. Barger safe at first with a hit off the bench. It's runners on first and second, one out.
Oh, well, that was his second good swing of the at-bat. A good line drive on a hanging changeup again from Brogdon. That was about thigh high, and Addison Barger stays right on it and hammers it for a single to right.
Brief stoppage in the action as there's going to be a meeting on the mound. It's time to let you know that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 4-2 for the Blue Jays. First and second, one out in the top of the 8th. And if this series has told the Blue Jays anything, it's that they need to continue to add on. Yesterday led 3-2 going to the bottom of the 8th, lost the game 8-3, and even today went up 4-1. The Angels have already cut into that deficit with a solo homer last inning.
And guess what happens when you're up by more than 3 runs? You don't have to use your highest leverage guys. You don't have to use Brendan Little. You don't have to use Jimmy Garcia. And most importantly, you don't have to use Jeff Hoffman.
Here's Miles Straw with 2 on, 1 out. The pitch. Called strike. Changeup floated over the middle.
I'm also assuming that Jimmy Garcia is down tonight.
I think that's a safe assumption. Garcia threw 24 pitches yesterday. 0-1. Swing and a ground ball. Diving stop at third. Moncada steps on third for one. Throws to first for a double play. What a play defensively from Moncada, diving toward the foul line and then turning two on one of the quicker Blue Jays in Miles Straw. Brogdon gets out of it after giving up a pair of hits, and it's still 4-2 Blue Jays, middle of the 8th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A team's defense is as precious as gold.
Great catch by Dalton Varsho.
Brilliant displays of athleticism, pure talent, instinct, and ability.
And it's caught.
An invaluable defensive presence. He is simply
the best outfielder in baseball.
On Wednesday, May 14th, celebrate this golden honor with the Dalton Varsho Gold Glove bobblehead. Available for the first 15,000 fans in attendance. Your golden chance for tickets awaits at BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Timber Mart is Canada's building center.
This Tuesday on City TV.
Only one act is going to walk out of here with $1 million.
Shania Twain returns for the Canada's Got Talent live finale.
I was expecting world-class talents, and that's what I got.
The final 8 acts battle it out for your vote. The show-stopping season finale.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Canada's Got Talent, the live finale, Tuesday 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Francis kicks and delivers. Called strike 3, 95.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Blue Jays 4, Angels 2. And for a second straight inning, John Schneider goes with Yariel Rodriguez. Retired the top third in order in the 7th. He'll face the middle of the Angels lineup here in the 8th, starting with the cleanup hitter, Jorge Soler. Rodriguez is offering. Swing and a liner, right center field, and that's going to sink down for a leadoff single. Off the end of the bat, it was not exactly well struck by Soler, but he hit it where they ain't, and he's got a base hit.
Yeah, that fastball was actually off the plate, out of the strike zone, and Soler just hits it off the end of the bat, a little weak line drive out in front of Miles Straw. Actually bobbled it for a second, but Soler wasn't able to take second, stayed at first base. But that's a big leadoff base hit for the Angels in this inning.
Soler was not exactly busting it out of the box as he jogged down to first. Tying run up now. The pitch to Logan O'Hoppe, called a strike 0-1. Could understand if there's some jitters from Blue Jays fans after the leadoff single, because it was a 6-run bottom of the 8th last night for the Angels. 0-1. Swing and a miss, nothing in 2.
Stay right there. If you're Yariel Rodriguez, you throw that slider again below the strike zone. Logan O'Hoppe was way out in front of that. Kind of an awkward swing.
O'Hoppe's a pure fastball hitter, hitting nearly 400 on the heater this year, hitting 200 on everything else. 0-2. Bounce the slider a little bit too far from the plate to entice O'Hoppe. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
If you're going to try to bounce an 0-2 slider, the best place to do it is right behind home plate, right at the right in the middle of home plate, because like you said, it entices the hitter to swing at it.
One, 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Or throw the slider down the middle and get O'Hoppe out in front. 1 down.
Or throw just a spinning slider right down the middle. I think Yariel Rodriguez will take that. I think the Blue Jays will take that.
O'Hoppe strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. And now John Schneider is going to go out to the mound and make a pitching change. With the switch hitter, Yohan Moncada, coming up, the left-hander, Brendan Little, will come in, turning around Moncada to bat from the right side. This pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 4-2 Blue Jays. Runner on first, one out, bottom 8. Let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Over in the NBA, the playoffs in full swing. The second round has been just absolutely full of pretty wild results, including another one tonight. The Knicks were down by 20 points. The Celtics at one point in this game, they stormed back at TD Garden to win 91-90. Josh Hart, 23 points in the win. Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points and 17 rebounds. Jalen Brunson with 17 points and 7 assists. The Knicks now take a 2-0 series lead back to New York in Madison Square Garden. Game 3 will be in New York on Saturday afternoon. We also have Game 2 between the Nuggets and Thunder going on right now. 2 MVP candidates going head-to-head in OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Denver's Nikola Jokic. Jokic did foul out of this game. Despite entering this one with a 1-0 series lead, the Thunder absolutely blitzing the Nuggets in Oklahoma City. It's 133-90 right now in favor of the Thunder with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I believe the Thunder's lead ballooned to about 48 points at one point in this game, including having scored well over 110 points before the beginning of the fourth quarter. So things going well for OKC tonight. And if they do hang on to it, I imagine they will have tied this series at 1 game apiece. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The lefty, Brendan Little, is on the hill for the Blue Jays. First time Little pitches since Sunday when he threw 24. And the main reason he'll come in is to turn around Yohan Moncada, who's been really good in this series. He's homered in both games, but those home runs coming from the left side. The Blue Jays will force him to bat from the right side as the tying run with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Jorge Soler on first, and the pitch. Called strike. Little closed setup from the stretch, the 0-1. Bounced it, good block by Kirk, right into the middle of his stomach. 1 ball, 1 strike. What a nice start to the year for Brendan Little. 15 2/3 innings, a 2.30 ERA. He struck out 23. He has walked 9. The 1-1. Check swing on a curve down and in. Appeal down to first. He did go around, says Tom Hanahan. 1-2. Moncada not very happy with that call.
No, we haven't seen a side view. I would love to see a side view because Moncada is beside himself right now with that call.
He's going to ask for time before the next pitch. He walked a circle around to cool himself off.
Yeah, he went.
He definitely went on the side view. The 1-2. Bounced it, and it hits Moncada on the thigh. Skipped that one way in front of home and yanked it so much that it caught Moncada in the leg. Blue Jays would have preferred for that one to just go to the backstop. Instead, the tying runs on base. It's first and second for the Angels with only 1 out.
I think that's the result of telling yourself, don't hang this pitch, don't hang this pitch. And then you choke it off and you bounce it like that. But I think that ball actually hit the grass before it hit Moncada.
For sure. It actually caught him in the calf and then ricocheted up into the thigh. I don't even know if they have these measurements for StatCast, but I'm not sure you'll see a pitch bounced that far in front of home for at least a couple months. Pitch to Travis d'Arnaud, hit on the ground, foul, 0-1. So first and second, 1 out. 4-2 Blue Jays, bottom 8. While the traffic is obviously concerning, and Brendan Little has become more of a strikeout pitcher, he still has that power sinker and the ability to get balls on the ground. d'Arnaud can be a double play candidate. Catcher for the Angels, bats from the right side. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Good sinker off the plate, down and away, 0-2.
Travis d'Arnaud doesn't have any home runs this year, but if you leave something over the middle, he can run into it.
for a guy who spent a lot of his career as a backup, or at least in split jobs behind the plate. He's hit over 120 home runs. 0-2, bounce to the plate, good pick by Kirk. He had an awkward forehand off to his backhand side. He was just to his right, and he scooped his hand behind it to keep it in front of him.
This has been a really tough couple of batters for Alejandro Kirk out there. Soler's a big run standing out at second base, and Alejandro Kirk has had to make, 3 or 4 blocks back there to keep him there?
Yep. Soler on second, Moncada on first. Little's 1-2. Bounce in front of the plate off the chest of Kirk, and it's out of play. Both runners will advance 90 feet. They were going to anyway. That's the second one spiked well in front of home by Brendan Little.
I have to tell you, that almost landed in the grass again.
I think it did.
No, it just missed the grass. I really do think that's just the pitcher telling himself, don't miss, don't throw this pitch down the middle, and then you choke it off.
Second and third, 1 out, 4-2 Blue Jays. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and then he bounces back with the curve exactly where you want it, an inch below the zone to get the strikeout.
That look on Travis d'Arnaud's face is like, come on, man. Really? That's a great curveball right there, right below the strike zone. You have 2 runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs. That is a gigantic strikeout in this ball game.
Still a lot of danger, though. Now with 2 in scoring position, a single could tie this game, and Pete Walker's going to go out and talk to Brendan Little, probably just try and calm him down.
Well, I think because that's the tying run standing out at second base, and you have the open base at first base, obviously you don't want to put the go-ahead run on base. But I think Pete Walker is telling Brendan Little, hey, just relax and be careful with this guy. You don't want to throw anything over the middle of the plate. If you walk him, you walk him. I mean, obviously, you don't want to walk him in this situation, but if you walk him, you walk him.
It's going to be a pinch hitter for the Angels after Kevin Newman came in defensively to replace Luis Rengifo. Joe Adell enters into the ball game, batting in that spot, so Newman does not get a chance to hit. And it will be the first-round pick in 2017 by the Angels, Joe Adell, up to the plate. Big right-handed hitter, second and third, 2 outs. 4-2 Blue Jays, bottom 8 the pitch. Low ball 1. Adell entered in midway through yesterday's game, went 1 for 2 with a home run. He's batting 180 on the year, 3 homers. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Sinker below the knees gets Adell to chase. 1-1.
How about that fastball right there? Just so much downward movement. Throw that thing right down the middle. Let it drop. That's what I would have told him if I was Pete Walker.
Little kicks and delivers. Bounce the curve to the plate. That one bounced just in front of home. 2 balls, 1 strike. Little entered with 1 out and a runner on first. A hit batter and a wild pitch, but also a strikeout for the lefty in the inning. It's 2-1. Outside, ball 3. Chad Green is loosening up for the Blue Jays. This is Little's 3rd batter. This continues the inning, Very easily you could see Green in this game.
Yeah, if he loses him here, I don't think you mess around.
The 3-1. Hit on the ground, foul, 3-2. Little has not thrown a pitch in the zone in this at-bat, but because of his great movement, he's forced 2 swings and he has a full count. 2 in scoring position for the Angels. Tying run on second, represented by Yoan Moncada. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. The payoff pitch. He got him! Curveball strikes out Adell, and after a little bit of trouble, Brendan Little strands a pair to keep the Blue Jays up 4-2. We go to the 9th. Blue Jays in Anaheim leading in Game 2 of this series. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Megan Megyn Kelly from The Megyn Kelly Show. Every weekday, we bring you open, honest, and provocative conversations from all sides with some of the biggest names in politics, culture, and beyond. Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks, J.D. Vance, Elsie Gabbard, Bill Maher, Tucker Carlson.
Grateful to be here.
You are not going to want to miss my one-on-one full show sit-down with Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy. And you made news.
I'm pretty good at making news one way or the other.
The Megyn Kelly Show from the SiriusXM headquarters in New York. Available now on the SiriusXM app.
Beeson by the books.
Breaking news, the Dallas Cowboys have traded for George Pickens.
It's not a question about his talent. It was the effort level that has been the bugaboo for George Pickens over his 3 seasons in the NFL.
Cowboys plus 750 to win the NFC East. Also the Steelers plus 550 there in the AFC North.
Beeson by the books. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 Eastern on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Top of the 9th inning, Blue Jays 4, Angels 2 after a great recovery from Brendan Little, striking out a pair in the bottom of the 8th. New pitcher, Brock Burke, the lefty, misses outside to Jonathan Clase. Ball 1. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Lefty Burke looking in, the 1-0. Called strike. 13th appearance of the season for the former Ranger, now Angel, Brock Burke, 5.25 ERA in 12 innings. The 1-1. Swing and a bouncing ball to shortstop. Picked up chest high by Neto. Lobs a throw to first and just gets Clase for the first out. This 9th inning is brought to you by the new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites. Only at Pizza Pizza, actually Canadian.
Let's go with that double XL. I love Pizza Pizza.
Here's Bo Bichette to the plate. 1 out, top of the 9th, and the pitch. Down and in, ball 1. There was the slider from Brock Burke. He throws a 4-seamer change, slider, and sinker. Sits in the mid to high 90s. (1-0) outside. Interesting sliding doors moment in this game. Brock Burke was up at one point in the 6th inning. They sat him down, got Reed Detmers up for the 7th. Detmers came in, allowed 3 runs without getting an out. That's why the Blue Jays are on top 4-2. 2-0. Down and in, 3 balls, no strikes. Burke kicks and offers. And misses outside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Bo Bichette. He's been aboard each of the last 2 times he's come up.
Well, I think Bo will take that walk there. I mean, again, this is still a pretty close game. Just 2 runs in the top of the 9th. We saw yesterday that the Angels are able to get a big swing and a lot of runs in 1 inning. Very powerful lineup, at least the top half of this lineup.
Jeff Hoffman is warming. Blue Jays would love to score a couple and sit him down. Here's Vlad Guerrero Jr. First pitch is hit on the ground right side. Picked up at first, Shotwell. Throws to second for 1. Neto back to the pitcher covering, and he got him. Brock Burke had to fiddle around to find the bag, but he got the foot on in time, and that's a 3-6-1 inning-ending double play. So it will be Jeff Hoffman, and it will be the bottom of the 9th inning next. Blue Jays up 4-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Wait a second. We might stay here because it looks like the Blue Jays are thinking about challenging right now. Saying that Brock Burke's foot wasn't on the bag. And so we're going to stay here, and we just got to look.
Toronto is challenging the out call at second base and the out call at first base.
So you can challenge multiple things, so they will. It looked very clear Bo Bichette was out at second. And tell me if I'm wrong, Chris. It looked very clear that Vlad Guerrero was safe at first.
Well, he's definitely safe at first. I'm unclear of why they're challenging the call at second base. We just saw the slow motion replay, and I didn't see anything wrong with that play at second base. But yeah, Vlad is safe at first. If they don't overturn that, then I don't know what they're looking at.
I think the answer of why they challenge at second and first is because they can. It doesn't hurt them. So you have them look at both, and maybe there's some hope that Neto wasn't on the bag. He definitely was. But it looks like Burke never found it.
That's a really, really difficult play for a pitcher, covering first base, trying to find the second baseman, throwing to first base, and then trying to find that bag.
Not that you expect him to have first base fundamentals, but Burke went with the wrong foot into the bag as well. As a lefty, usually if your left foot on the bag, extend with your right. But because he was running over, his right foot was closest. So he tried to put the foot down. Here's a call.
After review, the call at second is confirmed. The runner is out. The play at first base is overturned. The fielder never touched the bag. The runner is safe. And Toronto will retain their challenge.
Call at second almost tricked everyone in the ballpark for a sec, but the main challenge, the one at first, is overturned. So it's a fielder's choice for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and it won't be the bottom of the ninth just yet. 2 outs now. Anthony Santander is going to hit with Guerrero on first. The Blue Jays buy another chance after the successful challenge to try and add on runs, and Santander's had a nice day. 2 for 4, 2 singles, and one of them an RBI single back in the 6th. The pitch, no, it's going to be a step and throw to first, and Guerrero gets back in standing up. Santander had hit from the right side his first 3 times, batted left in the 7th, back to the right side again here in the 9th. Burke sets the pitch. Outside, ball 1. It's a very quick set from Brock Burke. I don't think he balked, but I think he got about as close as you can to not coming to a full stop.
I'm going to be honest, I thought that was a balk.
It's pretty close.
That was really, really quick.
1-0. In the dirt, 2-0.
He's not coming to a very obvious stop. That's the thing that's catching my eye.
Even when he sets, he's fiddling around his right leg, and you can do that, but then you do have to stop fully at some point, like Kevin Gausman. Keep an eye on it. It's a 2-0 count, 2 outs, runner on first. 4-2 Blue Jays, top of the 9th. 2-0. Swing and a fly ball, right field. Going back, Soler, and he'll make the catch just in front of the track to end the inning. No runs, no hits for the Blue Jays, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th with the Blue Jays leading 4-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle, beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays.
Yeah, you. Joe Bowen here, voice of the Leafs. Holy Mackinac, we've passed 100,000 insiders on Toronto Sports Insider. The Playoff Pulse campaign is unstoppable. Your support means 100% of Leafs playoff stream revenue keeps helping sick kids with life-saving care. Let's aim even higher. Subscribe now and join this amazing community making a difference. Together, we're showing sick kids the power of sports fans worldwide. Let's keep growing this global community.
On Kyron Paris, then the top of the order. Hoffman to the number 9 hitter. Slider outside, ball 1. Jeff Hoffman had a tough outing yesterday. Came in, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs in a third of an inning. 1-0. Bounce to the plate, 2 balls, no strikes.
The thing that I noticed about Jeff Hoffman in yesterday's ball game is the stuff was the same. That's what I'm looking for when I'm trying to figure out if a guy's overworked, if he's fatigued. I don't think Jeff Hoffman is fatigued. He just made a couple of mistakes in yesterday's ball game.
It's 2-0. Slider high, ball 3. Interesting, 3 straight sliders from Hoffman, who will dial it up to 98-99 with his 2 fastballs. You don't want to lose Paris, then the tying run comes to the plate. 3-0. Fastball inside, ball 4. Might have been a strike, but he missed the spot. It looked awkward for Kirk. That's a 4-pitch walk to start the bottom of the 9th.
And now it flips to the top of the lineup. Zach Neto is coming to the plate. A few powerful guys coming up for the Angels right now.
Runner on first, 1 out, or pardon me, no outs. 4-2 Blue Jays bottom 9. Right on right pitch to the shortstop, Zach Neto. Fastball for a strike, 0-1. 4-seamer sinker, splitter and slider for the right-hander Jeff Hoffman, first year over from Philadelphia. Now Alejandro Kirk asks for time from the home plate umpire Edwin Moscoso. That'll count as the first disengagement for Hoffman. Right-hander set, glove just below his belt. The 0-1. Splitter for a strike. Big movement there on the off-speed pitch. 0-2.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the one that he wanted to throw yesterday to Neto, but hung it a little bit. It was up at the maybe about belt high. Neto ripped that thing into left field.
Blue Jays got Hoffman out after 9 pitches yesterday when the game was getting away from them. To keep him rested, hasn't actually thrown much recently. The 9 yesterday, and then before that he had last pitched on Friday. 0-2. Swinging a liner up the middle of base hit into center field. Up to second base goes Paris, and the tying run is on base with the winning run coming to the plate for the Angels.
That's a pretty good piece of hitting right there from Neto. Again, you get the split finger. It was down this time, maybe at the bottom of that strike zone. Neto goes down and gets it. It's a good line drive into center field, but you're Jeff Hoffman. You're not worried about that guy standing at second base. That run is meaningless. I know you don't want to give up an earned run, but to the Blue Jays, that run at second base is meaningless. You're worried about that guy at first base.
Well, it's going to be another nail-biter. First and second, nobody out. 4-2 for the Blue Jays, bottom 9. Nolan Shotwell is the batter. He is 1 for 2, and he swings at the first pitch, lines it into center. Paris had to wait. He'll advance to third, and the bases are loaded for the Angels with nobody out. Splitter was on the outside edge, but it was left up, and Shotwell, a good contact hitter, got around it. So the winning run on base, the tying run into scoring position, and Pete Walker out to the hill to talk to Jeff Hoffman.
I mean, if you're Jeff Hoffman, you just have to throw strikes in this situation. Obviously, you don't want to walk Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward does have power. He's got 7 home runs this season, had a home run yesterday, so you don't want to leave a pitch over the middle of the plate, but if you're Jeff Hoffman, I know that you've had a couple of rough outings now, but you just have to remember that you have great stuff. You have elite stuff. Go right at these guys.
Taylor Ward steps up. Right-handed hitting left fielder, 0 for 4 today. 2 strikeouts, a pop fly, and a flyout. Bases loaded, nobody out. Hoffman's pitch. Swing and a miss. Good slider on the outside corner, 0-1. The infield is playing a double play depth. They would be glad to trade a run for 2 outs. 0-1. Slider hit foul off the end of the bat, 0-2.
How about a little dribbler to Jeff Hoffman? He flips to home plate. Alejandro Kirk throws to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first for a double play. That's the kind of double play that I want right now.
Blue Jays would take that as well. Bases loaded, nobody out. 4-2 Blue Jays, bottom 9. And the 0-2. Called, strike 3, 97 on the outer third, 1 out.
That's a big out in this ball game. Still got work to do. Still got work to do. You got the bases loaded, 1 out in this inning.
Jorge Soler to the plate, 4-2 Toronto. Like Chris said, bases loaded, 1 out. And the pitch. Up and in, ball 1. Single and a walk today for Soler. He's 1 for 3. He is a guy that's thrived in big moments. 2021 World Series MVP with Atlanta. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Curveball started on the outside corner. Pardon me, the slider, and dropped about 1.5 feet off the plate.
What do you think he was thinking right there?
Jeff Hoffman or Jorge Soler?
Jorge Soler with that
Where did
swing.
that ball go? The 1-1. Swing and a liner past the dive at third by Barger down the left field line. Harris scores. Neto around third. He scores. Shawnoel coming to the plate. He will come in to score. And Jorge Soler walks it off with a bases clearing double. Heartbreak for a second night in a row as the Angels defeat the Blue Jays 5-4.
Well, obviously you don't want a game to end like that. The Blue Jays fought and clawed their way to a 4-2 lead in that 9th inning. And Jeff Hoffman just didn't throw enough good pitches. It was kind of a weird first at bat. He threw 3 straight sliders and then ended up walking the first hitter of the inning. And how many times have we seen in this game when you walk the leadoff guy, he tends to come around to score. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, another tough outing for Jeff Hoffman.
5-4, the final score, and Anaheim will take a break, step aside, and when we come back, get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Another late comeback from the Los Angeles Angels. They load the bases and then walk it off on a bases clearing double in the bottom of the 9th to defeat the Blue Jays 5-4. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get you over to Blue Jays Talk in a sec. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And like last night, Chris, we're going to get to the end, but let's start with the starters. It was a matchup of two former teammates, former Blue Jay Yusei Kikuchi going up against the current Blue Jay Jose Berrios. Both completed 6 innings. Berrios pitched into the 7th, and they really dominated the first 2/3 of the game.
Yeah, it was a really fun game to watch. Obviously, any game that Yusei Kikuchi is locating his stuff is a fun game to watch. But Jose Berrios was great tonight. That changeup was really good. The slurve was outstanding, and then he mixed in some really, really nice sinkers on the black to strike out a couple of guys. But it's tough to think about the starting pitching right now when the Blue Jays just blew it in the 9th inning. And I know it's not Jeff Hoffman's fault. But you have to think about that first batter. Kyron Paris is the number 9 batter in this lineup. You're up by 2. Why are we throwing 3 straight sliders to start off that at bat? I don't understand what the thought process is there. You want to pound the bottom of the strike zone with your fastball, make him hit his way on, and then you go from there. But to walk the leadoff hitter, throwing 3 straight sliders to the number 9 guy in the lineup, I just don't understand that.
Well, let's get to that 9th inning. So the Blue Jays scored 1 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th to take a 4-1 lead after the top of the 7th inning. Home runs by Kyron Paris and Yohan Moncada. Paris in the 7th, Moncada in the 6th. It was 4-2 for the Blue Jays. Going to the 9th inning, Jeff Hoffman walks the leadoff hitter Kyron Paris, gives up a single to Zach Neto, a single to Nolan Shonowell, does strike out Taylor Ward, but then a double down the left field line from Jorge Soler scores all 3 runners on base to win it for the Angels 5-4. And it'll be deliberated about in a minute on Blue Jays Talk, but it's a tough spot to be, Chris, because for most of the season, you could have argued that the back-end relief pitching has been the best part of the Blue Jays, and 3 of their last 4 losses, they've held a lead in the 8th or the 9th inning, 2 of them in the 9th inning with at least 1 out, and all of a sudden, they're having some questions about finishing off games now.
So when Daniel Schneemann hit his grand slam for the Cleveland Guardians, I said that generally speaking, you kind of turn the page and baseball's a long season and you forget about this one and you move on to the next one. And I said that one will sting for a few days. I changed my mind. This one will sting for a few days. This one, it was almost like the Blue Jays had this game. Jose Berrios pitched so well. Brendan Little got out of a huge jam. Yariel Rodriguez even came into this ball game and pitched well for the Toronto Blue Jays. And here we are. The Blue Jays lose 5-4 in the 9th inning. Like you said, the bullpen has been the strength. It's supposed to be the strength. I still believe that it's the strength. You just have to make better decisions out there. And partially you have to blame Alejandro Kirk as well because he's choosing those pitches. He can call time. He can go out there and say, hey, we're not throwing 3 straight sliders to the number 9 guy in the lineup. It is what it is, and here we are.
Well, for the Blue Jays, they fall 5-4 to the Los Angeles Angels. 4 runs on 12 hits, no errors, 8 left. The Angels with 5 runs on 9 hits, no errors, 9 left. It was the Blue Jays who had 5 hits with runners in scoring position, 5 for 13. The Angels only had 2, but they got the big one when they needed it with that bases clearing double to win the game. Brock Burke with the win in relief is now 3-0. Jeff Hoffman blows a save or has a blown save for the first time this season. The loss puts his record at 3-1. No save on the Angels side. 2-hour, 46-minute game in front of 26,646. The Angels win consecutive games for the first time since April 5th to 8th, and they are now 15-20, and the Blue Jays are 16-20. The best thing about baseball, they got a chance to make up for it tomorrow. They will take on the Angels. Same start time, 9:38 Eastern, 6:38 Pacific. Chris Bassett takes the hill against Jose Soriano. From everyone involved in the broadcast, our technical director, Tom Young, our producer and host, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Stick around. Get your calls and texts in. Another night where I imagine you have a lot of thoughts. It's Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali, and it starts right now.
You know, I know it's my job to talk, but I got nothing. I got nothing. I mean, what fresh horrors await us on a nightly basis? And it's what you feel like. I feel like that's what you think most nights. And oh my goodness, I'd say it's unbelievable seeing these kinds of losses. But the truth is, it's very believable, isn't it? It is extremely believable. Oh my goodness. Hoffman gives up a bunch of hits in the ninth. The offense can't provide much insurance. And here we are again. The Jays, losers of now 4 straight tonight. Another demoralizing loss, a 5-4 walk-off defeat to lose the series in Anaheim. They will try to not get swept tomorrow. They are now 16-20. The Jays actually started this season 12-8. They have gone 4-12 since that 12-8 start. That's where we are. You're listening to Jays Talk. Show Ali with you. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. As with last night, because the Stanley Cup playoffs are in full swing and keeping everyone pretty busy in addition to the late hour, it is once more Tom Young and myself keeping the lights on at Baseball Control. So texts are the way to reach me. 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. We will, as I said yesterday, get back to taking your calls on the weekend and beyond. But I do promise to read as many of your texts, keep them PG, although I kind of self-edit, I admit. But we will read as many of your texts as we can squeeze in here tonight. It's truly unbelievable, though, right? I mean, the last 4 games, Schneemann, an extra inning grand slam, a 6-run 8th inning last night, and then a bases clearing hit in the bottom of the 9th inning. Just hideous stuff. Just absolutely hideous stuff. There's a text here from Claudio, in King City. Well, show with our bullpen struggling, I still pin this on our inability to hit for power with men on base, especially in the 7th inning tonight. No outs, 2 men on Vlad, Anthony, and George, all having poor ABs. Too many high leverage situations for our pen. And yeah, I will get to the 7th inning in a sec. I'll say this, I do think the pen, and I mean Hoffman in particular tonight, and Chris LaRue said this before we got to Jays Talk, Alejandro Kirk's going to wear this a little bit, but too many non-fastball pitches called probably from Jeff Hoffman. I mean, he got the lone strikeout he got tonight was on the fastball and, more or less right down the middle, but 97 miles an hour can help make up for a lot of things. And you want to see more of that heat from Hoffman. I can't imagine it's fatigue related because prior to last night, he had not pitched since Friday. So I don't know. I mean, he's got to wear it a little bit. I don't think you can completely absolve Hoffman or Jimmy Garcia for that matter, although he obviously didn't pitch tonight. So we're not gonna bag on Jimmy, but I mean, I don't think you can completely absolve these guys when they are the one physically throwing pitches, but my goodness, that is just hideous. On the 7th inning, though, talking about Claudia's text, so bottom of the order comes through, right, in that inning? I mean, it's been too often a non-factor. Clement gets aboard with a double. Jimenez bunts. He gets aboard. Miles Straw kind of protecting and still scores a run with a ground ball RBI single. Jonathan Clase beats out a throw with his first major league hit of 2025, at least. It was another bunt. I mean, we talked about small ball a lot, how the Jays kind of have no choice but to try and engage in more of that. And I mean, the balls are real small. I mean, they cannot get any smaller at this point. But then after Bo hits the 2-run single, that was his first hit all series. Vladdy, Santander, and Springer come up with no outs and runners on, and they can't get it done. Like, they all go down. And yes, the Angels exited that inning 4-1. I cannot believe they won that game. But hey, I mean, you gotta execute. And ultimately, the Angels executed in the end, and the Blue Jays' biggest bats did not, which is kind of crazy because they're for the biggest part of this game, for like 2/3 of this game, it did feel like the Blue Jays had a pretty good shot to pull it out. And for the 6-ish innings that Yusei Kikuchi was on the mound, and we'll talk about Kikuchi certainly, which we've done many times on Jays Talk, just from a different perspective tonight. But with Kikuchi on the mound, the only person who looked like he was alive when he was at the plate was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and then he doesn't get it done in the biggest moment. I'm not going to say it's all on Vladdy by any means, but my goodness, I cannot believe this is where we're at yet again. I got to think based on the text line, they flew in here. My goodness. But I got to think you guys feel the same way. Quinton from Courtenay, BC. Unwatchable, unbelievable. Like all fans, genuinely mad at management. Atkins and or Schneider must be canned soon, or we riot. Kyle from Bethany. Oh, Kyle just saying, listening to Ben and Joe for the Leafs. So some shout out to Joe Bowen as well tonight, which he very well deserved, is amazing. So there you go. Some positives for Ben and Joe outside of the results for, well, you know what? The Leafs result was pretty positive. So I think Joe and Jim will absolutely take it. Ben, I think would take a win, certainly. Forbes in Toronto. This is what we were talking about. Forbes saying Kirk calling splitter after splitter instead of letting Hoffman's fastball eat, and the game is lost in a slider. He overcalls junk with Y-Rod too for everyone. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Forbes is bang on. Kirk's got to wear this a little bit, at least a little. I mean, again, Hoffman, you wear that too. You're the pitcher, but I just it's I think what again, I've used the word eminently avoidable before. What bothers me is that ultimately it feels like this is a conversation we've had before, right? Not just about Kirk, but just about like not showing off your best stuff. Hoffman's bread and butter is the fastball. He has a nasty fastball. A little bit of movement. The velo is pretty filthy. You got to just show it off. And I understand. Like, you're not going to throw like a million fastballs in a row. But, I mean, how often have we spoken about this season? I'm trying to think of the pitchers who throw triple digits. But like, Andres Munoz and Emmanuel Clase relatively recently, how often you see them coming to games and just absolutely blow guys away? You want to see that from Jeff Hoffman. Let's see. 590, name and location. Jay from London simply says, man, these guys can't buy a win. So frustrating. This person, who's this? Oh, Cam and Cape Breton. Really? Again, I stay up until 1:30 a.m. for this. That's right, because in Cape Breton, it's even later. Oh, boy, I feel bad. I feel bad for you, Cam. I do. How is it not Jeff Hoffman's fault? Ryan in Innisfil, this has got to be a breaking point for this team. I know it's quote-unquote early, but every game matters when it comes down to it. The offense needs a boost, and the rotation needs youth. Make the pivot before it's too late. But here's the thing, Ryan, and feel free to text me back. But, like, what would the pivot be, right? Because I think we've run into these spots before where we're like, oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just we've said this is a breaking point. This is where things have got to change. And doesn't it kind of feel like you just keep digging and you just keep finding new lows? I don't know. I'm not sure. We were talking about this in the pregame show and how something is not connected with the talent and the process. And these results happen, but when they happen so often to the same group of players, I think you start to question, and we're well past starting to question, but you question all of those things. Like, are the players really as talented as you believe they are? Is the process really working? And again, I've always believed this, but processes are installed from the top down, right? Like, they're not only installed from the manager. Like, you can blame John Schneider if you want, and I have. It's not like I've shied away from doing that. I've done it as recently as Saturday, but ultimately, I don't know. I mean, this probably comes from the front office. It just, like when you watch, and I'm getting more macro here, but when you watch every team in the division win the division in the time that Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro have been in charge of this team, I think it makes it harder to stomach. Like, I think I've gotten a lot of texts, not just tonight, but I've gotten a lot of texts over the last several years, texts and calls. And I mean, I monitor it for Blair too, and it's been the same for him. About like the general sentiment, even if it's been said slightly differently from person to person, like, when is it going to be our turn, right? Like, when is it going to be our turn to win 100 games? Or when is it going to be our turn to win the division and go to the ALDS? Or when is it our man, right? I think there's been a lot of that sentiment for Blue Jays fans. And I got to say, I can't really disagree or blame anyone for feeling that way, because you always say, well, you know what, you make, and I hand up, I've been guilty of saying this. You say, well, you get into the playoffs and anything can happen. Maybe you too can be the Nationals like that one year pre-pandemic. Maybe you too can have your Cinderella run like the Arizona Diamondbacks did to the World Series, right? Like I think we have a lot of those conversations, and I mean, in theory, it's possible, but I'm not sure we've seen a lot from the Blue Jays. I would certainly in their entire tenure of Atkins and Shapiro, but I would say more specifically in the last 3 years, right? Post 2021, when the team really made a decided shift, a concerted effort to go towards the run prevention era and, defense first, right? And I got to say, hasn't been a lot of fun. Barker says this all the time. Sports are supposed to be fun, right? Baseball is supposed to be fun. I have not had a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys. I have not had a lot of fun in the last couple of games, certainly in the last couple of years on a consistent basis. I like to think I am one of the more patient people, all things considered. Maybe honestly, maybe to a fault in the sense of I'm maybe more willing to accept bad results because I think it's going to turn. It'll turn any day now. I think I totally will hear the criticism of that approach. But I mean, if I feel like this is going to make me insane, I can only imagine what you guys feel. Tom has a straight face, but I think he feels the same way. He feels exactly the same way. I know you do, Tom. All right, let's take a quick break here, Tom. And when we come back, I do want to talk a little bit about Jose Berrios. And I'm going to read as many of these texts as possible. There's 30 texts I haven't gotten to. So let's read a lot of texts. We're here until the top of the hour, 590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. It is always open for your texting pleasure. And then we will also chat a little bit about Berrios. And if we have some time, get to the bullpen pitchers not named Jeff Hoffman tonight. So still lots to come on the final segment here until the top of the hour. You're listening to Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality.